The following program is a presentation of the Seattle Seahawks and the National Football League.
After another double-digit win season and a run into the postseason, it's time to let the next preseason begins. The Seahawks try to get it going, hosting the Denver Broncos in the preseason opener here from CenturyLink Field. Hello again, everyone. I'm Kurt Menefee alongside my longtime partner, Brock Hewitt. Good to see you again, buddy.
You bet.
You know what? We've been together for quite a while. I think 8 years now. That's not even as long as Pete Carroll has been here. Seems like he's been here forever in some ways, and it seems like he just got here in others. But he's been here 10 seasons now, starting this year, and is the winningest coach in franchise history.
And it's pretty remarkable. This is the season, Kurt, that's a tipping point. This is the season that he will be longer tenured as a Seattle Seahawk than he was as the head coach at USC in his dynastic run with the Trojans. And you can just see the energy. This team fits his mold. He loves to train, he loves to teach, he loves to develop, and he's got a young group, especially tonight, that we're going to see a bunch that he is molding along the way.
And he got a whole bunch of those young guys this offseason that he likes. 11 rookies coming into this draft class alone. Forget the free agents that they signed that went undrafted. But this is a class that I think a lot of people are looking forward to seeing how they do, because they've got some guys they think could be a diamond.
Just star power.
Yeah.
I think DK Metcalf is the biggest offensive star since Russell Wilson is a rookie. He was bigger than life when he was drafted. He put on a show at the Combine. He waited, and we will all remember those tears he had when he finally got the call, but he's answered that call. He's been phenomenal through training camp. I know he can't wait to play. And on the other side, Cody Burton, he's awfully excited to hit somebody as well.
Both those guys will be in the starting lineup tonight. We'll break it all down for you in just a moment, because it is just about time for football. At least for the Seahawks, their season's about to begin as we have the opening kickoff coming your way right after this. Seahawks football is brought to you by CenturyLink, trusted technology partner of your Seattle Seahawks. Well, as we get ready to start the 2019 preseason, the Seahawks won the toss, but they deferred to the second half. And so we'll get our first look at Jason Myers, who was here in training camp with the team last year, wound up going to the New York Jets and making the Pro Bowl for the AFC. Back deep, you may recognize him if you're a Washington State Cougar fan. River Craycraft back deep for the Broncos.
Just about a perfect night of football. 70 degrees, a little bit overcast, slight little breeze. Shouldn't be any cramping tonight. Other than maybe a mental cramp
for you to say sitting in the booth. All right, so the Seahawks are ready to kick things off. Russell Wilson not going to play tonight. Geno Smith will get the start, trying to win that backup job. He's in competition with Paxton Lynch, who we should see tonight as well.
Yeah, those two guys are going to get ample opportunity to make their case through tonight. And I think a lot of this preseason, Geno will undergo a little procedure after this game. Coach Carroll saying he should still be good for next Sunday in Minnesota. And Paxton's looking across those sidelines. And you can see the hands up. He's nodding to some of his former teammates. Remember, a first-round pick just a couple years ago to the Denver Broncos.
And so he'll come in relief of Geno Smith, who gets the start tonight. Of course, Geno was a second-round pick for the New York Jets. Bounced around the league since then. Last year, we saw him actually in action backing up Phillip Rivers there with the Chargers. So we'll see what he can do tonight as two veterans will battle it out to see who will back up Russell Wilson, who will not play in the first preseason game for the first time in his career, believe that or not. Looks like we are ready to get it going. Mr. Myers, let's get the 2019 season started. And there it is. Devontae Booker with the return. He's bottled up. Shaquem Griffin met him right at the 15 10-yard line, and that's what the Seahawks want to see out of that young man on special teams.
That's what they want to see out of their special teams units, just flying down the field. An immense amount of competition in that phase of the game as well. And Shaquem making his mark in 2019.
Well, there you see the veteran quarterback in his 12th year, Joe Flacco. First time he's put on a uniform other than the Baltimore Ravens. Of course, won a Super Bowl with them. Now trying to get his career refocused here with the Denver Broncos. First down, starting at the 15-yard line. And the handoff taken by Philip Lindsay. Let's take a look at the Seahawks defense tonight as Cassius Marsh makes that tackle. He gets to start on the defensive line along with Mitchell Jefferson and Martin. And some of the names we talked about with these young guys, there's Cody Barton. Keep your eye on him, number 57, the third-round pick out of Utah. He is the man in the middle tonight that everyone can't wait to see.
And you saw Shaquille Griffin in on that tackle as well. Two very active corners that love to come up and fill in the tackling phase as well.
Short 1-yard pickup, a little confusion. Philip Lindsay takes it. Second effort. And shows you why he was a Pro Bowler as a rookie last year. Shaquille Griffin makes the stop, but only after the Broncos pick up the first down.
And you'll see that sometimes, right? On punt returns or kickoff returns, the ball gets bobbled, and you're thinking, oh my goodness, it's just going to ruin the play. But actually, because of that confusion in the background, it just messed up some of the fits and some of the timing. And Philip Lindsay doing what he did a year ago is an undrafted guy that really became a star for the Broncos, making something out of nothing.
10 yards on the game there. Off the play fake. Flacco's first pass out to Lindsay. Open field for a bit. And another big pickup by this Broncos offense. Finally stopped by Michael Kendricks, but only after a 9-yard gain.
The Broncos a little advantage. Remember, they played in the Hall of Fame game a week ago. Now, Joe Flacco didn't play, but some of the others did. And an offensive coordinator, and you heard Chris Collinsworth talk about it a lot. Rich Scangarello comes from the Mike Shanahan, Kyle Shanahan background. A lot of movement, a lot of shifting. The screen pass like that one executed with excellent timing for the Broncos on first down.
Royce Freeman now the running back. Stopped right at the line of scrimmage. The pile pushes backwards. There's Cassius Marsh involved in the action once again, along with Quentin Jefferson.
Yeah, nice job at the point of attack. And this is going to be a key focus for these Seahawks. And talking to Bobby Wagner yesterday, they've got to just be better right there at the point of attack. You can see winning and getting that penetration and pushing that offensive line. Almost like a game of tug of war. You can watch that line of scrimmage and who's getting and creating the movement. Kudos to the Seahawks D-line in that occasion. Creating the 3rd and 1, and the 12s in fine form as they're cranking up the noise.
First third down of the night in Denver. Going to want to call a timeout.
And you can see a little of the huffing and puffing, right?
Yeah.
That is the beauty. I can tell you it's a perfect night for football, and temperature-wise for the big guys, they love this. Right, you look around the league tonight, 10 other games going on, there's heat, there's humidity, but even though it's 70 and it's calm, these guys, you could see the hands on the hips because there's a different exertion level when it's live.
Well, also a different excitement level.
Oh,
you're
absolutely.
maybe hyperventilating before you even start, especially if you're a young guy because you're so pumped up to play.
It doesn't matter. Earl Mitchell's a veteran guy in there. I don't think it really matters, Kurt, right? Whether you played 8-9 years or whether you're a young guy like Cody Barton right in that mix, you're right. There is an excitement to just go finish a tackle, something you've been unable to do all offseason and in the training camp.
3rd and 1. Freeman, first down and more. Can he make it all the way? Being chased from behind and tripped up. Tedrick Thompson caught the speedster, but a big chunk of 50 yards for the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, and kudos to Denver here at the point of attack. The previous down, I talked about it. Look at the right between the guards. Look at the contact. Look at Meter getting moved off of the ball there. And when you get that kind of movement and you get your blockers to the 2nd level, look at Cody Barton. He's having to catch that fullback, right? You don't want that. You want to be the one attacking, especially in 3rd and short. Unfortunately, Denver executing very well on 3rd and 1 for the Seahawks.
All the way to the 15-yard line. Quick pass. Caught out in the flat. Tim Patrick. Patrick forced out of bounds by Cody Barton.
I know Cody right now, that heart is racing, the mind is racing. He can't wait, could not wait for this moment. And he's a versatile guy. You're going to see him at Sam, strong side linebacker, middle linebacker, weak side linebacker, even probably throughout the course of this game. Bobby and KJ and Pete, Dave Wyman raving just about how easy this game has come from the X's and O's. But the speed and the violence, that only comes with experience like tonight.
Philip Lindsay, stutter steps, met before he even got back to the line of scrimmage. Good penetration this time by the Seahawks defensive front. Led by Mr. Barton.
There's a little thump.
That's what he's been waiting for.
A little stopping power, as they like to say. Scouts like to say, can you stop that runner cold? And here's yet again another 3rd and 1 situation. Denver won the last one. And look at Cody reading, reacting, and bait. That's stopping power.
12s are into it. Flacco looking out of the backfield. Ross Freeman falls forward. Did Marquise Blair stop him before he got the first down? Looked like he hit him, but the forward progress will move the chains.
And circle those two guys. 57 and 27 over the course of, I think, a good 40 minutes. They're going to play an awful lot. Eyes up, head up. And you're right, it was just that second effort on 3rd and inches on a secure tackle from Blair that once again gives the Broncos a much-needed 3rd down conversion.
Blair, the 2nd-round rookie out of Utah. We've seen Cody Barton, the 3rd-rounder out of Utah. Both thumpers. 1st and goal. Freeman caught in the backfield. Brian Monet. That's the 2nd or 3rd time tonight we've seen the Seahawks defensive front get penetration before the runner could get started.
And Monet, a big-time recruit to Michigan, an undrafted rookie free agent that also is going to fight for opportunities this preseason and just win off the snap that surge. And this is an area the Seahawks were really good a year ago. 5th best in the league at limiting red zone touchdowns. The ball may move between the 20s, but this is where you got to stiffen that neck.
Here's the handoff. Philip Lindsay caught in the backfield again. Well, the Seahawks are certainly winning the battle up front.
And they're all getting involved. Brandon Jackson that time. We've seen Monet. You saw Barton earlier. Kid Norton like that. Field condenses, right? You get inside that 20, you just shed that block instantly. The rookie Noah fan, welcome to the NFL. These guys, you got to block on the edge. If you don't win at the snap, negative plays occur, and yet again another 3rd down opportunity for this defense.
Out of the shotgun, Flacco towards the end zone, overthrows his intended receiver, Cortland Sutton. Trey Flowers there on the coverage, and the Seahawks survive.
That's a hard 50-50 ball against Trey Flowers. That is it's 6'3", a guy, remember, a safety converted a year ago, saying night and day difference from last year to this year, and you feel it, just his confidence. He's not missed a rep this training camp, and you can't play it better than that as that throw goes far and away.
So Brandon McManus will come on to try a 25-yarder. Puts it through. And so after bending early, the Seahawks defense, particularly that line, stays strong, and they hold the Broncos to a field goal to make it 3-0. Stay tuned for Seahawks Experts, presented by the Muckleshoot Indian Tribe. All right, the Seahawks give up nothing but a field goal despite a long 78-yard drive by the Broncos, and so now Seattle will get their first chance on offense.
And really indicative in some ways of the defense a year ago that was very, very good down in the red zone. And part of the reason they were one of the better units as far as scoring defense goes. And it also shows you just how in the NFL, the Cody Barnes, these young guys are going to learn just that fit, that 6-inch area that you could get away with in times in college. You know, you catch that block wrong, or they get on top of you, and just that half a foot can be the difference between a Well, negative 2-yard run, which we saw on some occasions, and then them getting out on that 3rd down run for a good 30-plus.
Also early on, even though Joe Flacco didn't play last week, this Bronco offense did look like one that had a little bit more rhythm going. It took the Seahawks defense a while to kind of get going. Denver played in the Hall of Fame game, beating Atlanta 14-10 last Thursday.
There's no question, and that is exactly what you're going to now expect on your side from Geno Smith, a guy that has led a bunch of drives, should have no nerves, is a veteran player here, and you want him to operate with that similar tempo.
Mr. Everything, Keenan Reynolds takes it at the 1-yard line. Through a hole. Tripped up from behind. He was that close to breaking it. That brings some excitement to the building. And, of course, the Seahawks just trying to figure out their return game. Keenan Reynolds could be part of that answer.
And you could see him just get by that outside gunner. He had to beat that unblocked defender right there. And a nice crease by the blocking unit. That's a plus on both sides now. Brian Schneider, special teams coordinator. A lot of time and effort into the team's both coverage phase, which was a win, and a return phase, setting Geno Smith up with some good field position.
Now in his 7th year out of West Virginia. Working from the shotgun, hands it off for Rashad Penny. He slips. Trying to make that cut, slipped after a 3-yard pickup. And we talked about Smith, former 2nd-round pick. Had some success early on with the New York Jets and had an incident with a teammate. Broke his jaw, was out of the starting lineup for a while and just never got his career going after that. Now trying to be Russell Wilson's backup. Penny again, caught in the backfield this time. Chris Harris, the veteran quarterback, with the tackle. We'll bring up a 3rd down.
You're going to see a mix of starters and some of the backups on that offensive line as well. Justin Britt right in the middle of that action. No Fluker, no Brown tonight. Rashad Penny getting the start. DK Metcalf is itching to get his opportunity. And Nick Vannett also has had a nice training camp.
Metcalf at the top of your screen. Geno Smith, his first pass. Scrambling. He is good at that. Flag goes flying in the backfield. We'll get our first call of the night from referee Brad Allen to see what that penalty is. There's a 2nd flag down right about the 45-yard line as well. So that's probably what the discussion is.
More than likely offsetting.
Fouls by both teams. Holding. Offense number 55. Holding. Defense number 26. Those penalties offset. Will repay 3rd down.
And welcome to the NFL. Here's DK Metcalf, and this is what you're going to get used to in this league. Guys are going to get their hands on you as quickly as they possibly can. You got a big receiver like that. You do not want to let 230 running 4-3 get going. And while Denver and Vic Fangio is not known as a man press team, those DBs are going to be very active on a big target like DK.
Well, the good news is for Seattle, the offsetting penalties will give them another shot at it. Here's Smith. Penny out of the backfield. First down. Penny into Bronco territory.
What a great call.
27 yards on the run before Von Miller made the stop.
You saw Denver execute a couple screens. They're always good against defenses in early preseason games. You get the right call. You get the man-to-man look. Linebacker gets lost against that screen. A wonderful job getting out front of that play by Posick and Justin Britt and those offensive linemen. And 3rd and 10. Excellent call by Schottenheimer. And there's some of that burst, that first-round burst that you want to see from Rashad Penny.
Down to the Denver 39. Play fake. Smith to the sideline. First catch for DK Metcalf.
That was a nice throw by Geno, timing-wise. That really made the play as much as anything else, as does the big frame. And you can hear the roar in CenturyLink Field. But Geno gets this ball out of his hand in a hurry. He can see the bail coverage by that Denver Bronco cornerback. And Geno knows instantly that I can throw this thing on time. And I'm going to trust that frame to be able to shield that DB away.
6'4", 230 pounds. Why not? Gain of 8. To the left side, Metcalf again, dancing, first down. Lowers his shoulder, penalty marker as well.
I think that's going to be on the block, unfortunately. On a drive that's showing the kind of tempo Coach Carroll and Coach Schottenheimer expected from the veteran Geno Smith.
We had 2 flags come flying on that left sideline. See if they saw the same thing or these are 2 different penalties.
Illegal block in the back. Number 83, offense. 10-yard penalty. Still second down.
And they both saw David Moore with a bad push.
Yeah, and I think that's one of those situations you're so anxious on those little bubble screens, those wide receiver screens, to help your teammate out. I want to help my buddy. I want to help DK. And I think in that situation, when you get caught, the only thing you can do is push that defender in the back. You just got to trust that DK is going to run through that tackle. Shotty not liking the call on the replay board either.
So it backs the Seahawks up to the 41. Draw play. Penny. He's getting plenty of use tonight so far. 3 yards that play.
And Rashawn talked an awful lot about just learning to be a pro and what that means, from how you take care of your body, not only in season but off season. Really reached out to Marshall Falk, a fellow San Diego State Aztec, and leaned into him from a mentoring role this offseason, and has come back as just a different guy. Really, I think, going to provide quite a 1-2 punch with Chris Carson.
They fake it to him that time. Through the hands of Moore, incomplete. Fans want a flag, they don't get it. Isaac Yadam on the coverage.
That's pretty good coverage. We saw him earlier on DK on a 3rd down. And David Moore is a guy that also this preseason is going to get ample opportunity to do more than just run those go routes, which he did at a high level last year. And how about a 56-yard bomb opportunity for Myers to begin the preseason?
Well, we talked about him being a Pro Bowler last year in the AFC. His long was 56 last season. His career long is 58. Back as a rookie in 2015 with Jacksonville, but that one's going to drift wide right. So the Broncos get a field goal on their first drive. Penalties stall the Seahawks' first drive. They miss their field goal. It stays 3-0. Here are more Seahawks stories presented by Muckleshoot Indian Tribe. It's about 4.5 minutes left in this opening quarter of this first preseason game of the year.
There's your player to watch.
Yes, sir. Markevius Mingo trying to make the switch from linebacker to defensive end.
And he was such an effective player, both in special teams, led the team in special teams tackles, did a nice job as that strong side linebacker. But this team needs some pass rush. Right, Ziggy Ansah, they expect back week number 1. Frank Clark is now a Kansas City Chief. Jaron Reed's going to miss the first 6 games, so they're about 23 sacks. But if you look at Mingo and Jacob Martin and Cassius Marsh and the opportunity inside for Poona Ford, those guys are going to have to rise to the occasion. And Markevius will get ample opportunity to transition to that spot in this preseason.
All right, you see Joe Flacco played the 1 series. He's done for the night. Kevin Hogan now in at quarterback. Former Stanford product. Been around the league for 4 years. We'll also see their rookie Drew Lock later on tonight. Here's the pitch taken by Devontae Booker, and Booker trying to tap dance along that sideline. Short pickup, 3 yards.
Nice job there by Mingo on an inside move, slowing down on that toss sweep. You want to slow the feet down to that running back. Just discombobulate the timing of that play, and there you see some of the quickness. Well, he was a 6th pick in the draft by the Cleveland Browns. He's got elite stuff when it comes to his size and quickness. I think it's just a comfort level of really securing a spot and feeling good about it.
Booker again lost his footing. Seen that happen a couple times tonight. There's a flag down as well.
Quentin Jefferson's been active.
This whole defensive front for the Seahawks has been active thus far. And there is new turf here at CenturyLink tonight. First time it's been put in use.
Defense, number 66. 5-yard penalty, automatic. First down.
Jamie Meter, one of those active defensive linemen.
And that's a call you typically don't see much in the preseason. Usually it's the big veteran guys in season, right?
Yeah.
As bodies get beat up and they try to hold defenders, and Meter unfortunately caught on that one. It would have been 3rd and 7. Instead it moves chains.
And gives them a first down in Seahawk territory at the 47-yard line.
Man.
Hogan's first pass. Couldn't quite get his feet underneath him. Good coverage by Shaquille Griffin, breaking up the pass intended for Tim Patrick.
Seahawks do such a nice job of disguising. Right pre-snap, is this going to be a single high zone? Is this going to be a man-to-man? One of the little tells you'll see teams do against him is run some motion to try to get an indicator. This is man-to-man coverage, and you can see Shaquille play it perfectly, and that's a near interception. That's exactly what you want to see as he drives through that ball, not through the receiver. Big year for Shaquille Griffin
as he tries to make that next step. Now in his 3rd season. Here's Hogan. Zips that one over the middle. Pass caught. Noah Fant, their first-round pick out of the University of Iowa. But you talk about Shaquille Griffin and this being an important year for him. Spectacular rookie season. Played okay his 2nd season, but I think he expected more out of himself.
Oh, and he talked about it this offseason. You know, he was on with a radio show here in town. My friend Bob Stelton said, I was a D+ this year. You know, last season I wasn't good enough. And he added a little bit of weight. He fought through some injuries. He's as lean as he's ever been. He's as fast as he's ever been. And Kurt, he's coming into a time now where I think his confidence has got to be as high as it's ever been as a Seahawk as well.
Another 3rd and short. Here's Hogan. Dropped. Incomplete. Troy Fumagalli.
The Badger.
Yeah, had it in his hand, but couldn't hold it in. That would have been a first down.
And that was a challenge for Hogan last week. You can see it. Hands on the hips as they're going to go for it on 4th down. A couple drops from Fant a week ago in the Hall of Fame game. Fangio doesn't like it. That's a well-executed play. It's there to be made. And sure-handed Fumagalli can't finish.
Fangio's about as old school as it gets. 32 years in the National Football League as an assistant coach. This is his first head coaching job. Empty backfield.
Man-to-man.
Quick pass, Theo Riddick, and it's broken up. Austin Calitro got there just as the ball arrived. Perfect breakup done by the Seahawk defense, and they take care of business stopping the Broncos. And now a look at the Seahawks Day of Service as part of the NFL Huddle for 100 initiative presented by Muckleshoot Indian Tribe.
Austin Calitro, the 3rd-year Seahawk year. And this is all about reading and recognizing what is going on. They motion the receiver out. Here's Calitro, okay? And he knows that a running back's going to do one of 3 things. He's going to run a go, a hitch, or a slant route. And by alignment, he reads and he reacts. And then he goes right to the contact point. Right? He's not doing that as a rookie. You know, he may look at it, he may see it, and a great reaction there as well. But as a 3rd-year player, you're also then tracking that football and knowing I got to get right to the reception point in order to knock the ball away. Well done, Calitro.
You've seen a lot more by this age. It's one of those things that we talk about.
Game slows down.
Yeah, it really does. It's just the development of players.
And he's saying, man, I know Cody's had a really good camp, and Bember Curvin's a good player, but don't forget about me as well, because played a bit last year in the regular season and more than held my own.
Yeah, anytime you draft 2 linebackers, if you're in that room, you start looking around, but that's the way to make sure you stick around. Here's Rashad Penny again. His 5th carry of the night. May have lost a little laundry there as well. Shelby Harris hanging on for dear life, just enough to slow him down.
You know, there's 2 things that jump out, though. Watch the smooth feet right there. Is the blocker is in the backfield, the feet to get away, and then the power to run. Yeah, even as the player's tugging at the T-shirt and the towel. That may not look like much on the stat sheet, a 3-yard run. That could easily have been run right into the back of my tight end, not run through the tackle. That's 3+ yards after contact, all from Mr. Rashad Penny.
Gino. Oh, almost picked off. Right to the hand of Adam Gotsis, who shows you why he's a defensive lineman instead of a tight end. That had pick written all over it.
Yeah, and that's just a throwaway. That's a 7th-year player that's got to realize there that is a screen play called. There's really nothing there, and you've just got to eat it. You just can't take that kind of risk, especially in your own end of the field. Nice play, and awareness by Gotsis, a veteran player. He feels the screen pass there, and you're at tight end. Catches that one.
Of course, he would be on the field right now for a tight end, but that's another story. Third down, pressure coming. Smith, lucky that one wasn't intercepted as well. Put it up there for big DK Metcalf, but it was swatted down by Devontae Bosby.
Pressure there from Denver, bringing the fifth player, Vic Fangio. It's what he does. Plays an awful lot of that pressure zone, fire zone defense. Bosby's eyes are in the backfield, and he's reading DK break that route off. And that is one that I think in time, and Vic Fangio, an aggressive guy that gives you lots of different looks. You love that, see that throw down and away. So again, DK could shield that defender.
Here's the all-pro Michael Dixon. Kelvin McKnight catches over his shoulder, and that's perfect for what the Seahawks wanted. Is Nico Thorpe right there to bring him down immediately. 41 yards on the punt, -2 on the return. Up next, check out defensive end Jacob Martin's commencement speech at Muckleshoot Tribal School, presented by the Muckleshoot Indian Tribe. Seahawks football is presented by Washington's Lottery. Take it to 12 with Seahawks Scratch from Washington's Lottery. You can win $75,000 or a chance to hang the Seahawks legend, the favorite. Broncos got a field goal on the opening drive of the ball game. Nothing since. The Seahawks defense has gotten better as the game has gone on, and special teams unit looking good as well, as Denver will have their second series under Kevin Hogan at quarterback.
I'll tell you what else I like is they're keeping the secondary in. Trey Flowers, Shaquille Griffin, Tedrick Thompson. I like that.
Why?
They just need, I think, to just take that next step as a group. There is enough good stuff there. There were enough plays a season ago where you're like, yep, I feel good about that. But having continuity and building confidence on the back end of that defense, I like watching these guys play a bunch this first game.
Broncos start at the 15-yard line. Here's Devontae Booker. Pickup of 5 yards on the play. Rasheem Green in there on the tackle.
You have a defensive-minded head coach. You got two of them on this field tonight.
Yeah.
And Vic Fangio and Pete Carroll, and two guys that have coached a lot of defense. You know what they both want to pair with that, and that's a run game.
Yep.
And the Seahawks did it better than anybody in the league a year ago. 160 yards a game, the #1 rushing offense, and you're going to watch Denver commit to that over the course of this season as much as they ever have as well.
Here comes the blitz. Hogan rolling right underneath. Pass caught by Hamilton. And Deshaun Hamilton slips a tackle, picks up a first down on a gain of 13. Michael Kendricks with the stop.
Much like Russell Wilson, off the run game is the play action, is the movement. And you see Kendricks there as well, a very active linebacker. He was the one that you saw pre-snap coming on that pressured look, and you're going to see him do that a ton this season. But run play action, exactly the recipe the Seahawks love to employ. The Broncos will as well.
Quick pass by Hogan underneath, and that's caught by the rookie Noah Fant. Gain of 7. Austin Calitro and Marquise Blair in there on a stop. And Marquise Blair is one of those young guys that Pete Carroll mentioned to us he can't wait to see in action. For the same reason we talked about Cody Barton. They both went to Utah. They're both big thumpers, and you can't do that in practice.
Nope, and this is their time to shine. Coach Carroll saying this week that I can't wait to watch Marquise. They took him in the second round because they knew he'd love to finish tackles. And Cody, as we talked about earlier, incredibly versatile linebacker.
That'll do it for the first quarter of the first preseason game. Broncos score first, and they're the only ones putting points on the board so far, as this Seahawks defense has looked much better since that opening drive. It's 3-0. Did you know that tonight's first quarter is brought to you with limited interruptions by the Muckleshoot Indian Tribe?
I learned that.
And we are ready to start the second quarter of the Seahawks Dancers this year. First carry for Theo Riddick, and he's wrapped up in the backfield right away. There's that kid, Cody Barton.
I think this is what you're going to see. The longer this game goes, even the more comfortable he is going to get. You just look at the eyes and reading all the action in front of him, and then you've got to sift and sort your way through that massive humanity and shoot that gap, and then ultimately do this. Be able to wrangle that tackle and finish that tackle.
Loss of 2 on the play. And you can see why Pete Carroll feels so good about his linebackers right now. Not just the 3 starters, but having a rookie like Barton who has been spectacular through training camp. Here comes the pressure, overthrow to Hogan. He had to get rid of that before he wanted to. Michael Kendricks, one of those linebackers, coming in there and bringing the heat.
You can see his little chuckle right there. He was actually beat on that route. A good little option route, but the pressure in the gut of Hogan forces the missed throw, and there's going to be disappointment. You're going to see the running back get in. You get the matchup you want, the one-on-one. But Jacob Martin right there doing what he did a year ago. The stat sheet didn't show it in the sacks, but the number of times he hurried and harassed and affected negative throws that way. Well done, Jacob.
Kobe Wadman on to punt for the first time tonight. Flags down already. David Moore. See what the penalty is. Remember, Moore had that big return last year, called back to a penalty. So he can do it. And I think that's one of the areas that the Seahawks have to figure out now that it looks like Tyler Lockett's going to have a bigger role on the offense.
Agreed. Whether that's going to be J.D. McKissick, whether that will be David Moore, there will be plenty of reps this preseason to figure that out as well.
During the kick, there were fouls by both teams. Holding, kicking team. Holding, receiving team. Those penalties were offset at the spot of the end of the kick. First down.
There's Jacob Barton.
You talk about these guys, and we were chatting about Penny earlier, just being a pro, and Jacob Martin saying, hey, this offseason, instead of training for a combine, instead of being a track guy, I got to train to be a football player and a defensive end. And I think the big thing for him is just his weight. If he can keep that weight on, there is just elite quickness and speed. But over the course of the season, being sturdy enough in this league, trying to go up against those big boys, a challenge for Jacob in year 2.
And he did show it. He was the one that brought the pressure on that last play. And Ethan Posey was like, are you my quarterback? Because you're tapping me on the backside. We're just waiting until all the officials are ready. So now the Seahawks will begin at the 19. Geno Smith still in their quarterback. Flushed out of the pocket. Looking downfield the whole time, but can't find anybody open. Decides to keep it. Eventually chased out of bounds by Sue Cravens after a 5-yard pickup.
If I'm Geno Smith at this point in my career and I look around the league, this is a pretty good fit. This is a spot where, yeah, Russell doesn't get hurt. He's played 113 straight games, but as far as what I do, I'm speaking for Geno, of a movement guy, a play action guy, of a run game that takes some of the burden off of it, and a very good offensive line. There's a lot of pieces and components here that Geno knows at this stage would be a really good fit for him.
Working out of the shotgun here. Going deep, Smith down the sideline. He's got a man in Metcalf, but he overthrew it.
Ooh, that was close. I like that throw. I like that throw.
Well,
Geno gave him a chance.
And remember, the coaches can challenge pass interference this year not being called on plays. Not saying that this is one that will happen, but take another look at this. Probably not enough contact there for you to waste a flag and challenge it. Although Pete Carroll and a lot of these coaches are saying we want to challenge these plays just to figure out what they're going to call during the regular season.
See how fast he got to top speed off
really
of that
did.
Little hint.
He cranked it up. Instead, it's like a foul ball. A noisy strike. Geno in trouble. First sack of the night. Dakota Watson getting the job done.
Coach Carroll knows that Vic Fangio coach teams know how to get after the quarterback. Once again, a funky little front there. They ultimately only bring 4 guys. And I think in that moment, for Geno Smith, when you beat that first wave of guys, you know going backwards, dangerous.
Yeah.
Russell gets away with it at times, but you want to climb up into that pocket, if anything, on 3rd and 7 and try to avoid that negative play.
Dixon with a chance to boom it. Here's McKnight from his 43. Chase down. Flags go flying as well. But good coverage by the special teams unit. Nick Ballore in there on the tackle with Barkevius Mingo.
Man, the coverage units tonight, starting with Shaquem on the kickoff. Nico, Barkevius. Only 3.7 seconds hang time on that punt. That's a little un-Dixon-like right there. But the coverage unit, something that was a big focal point, both from a personnel and execution standpoint. Been sharp here, preseason game number 1.
During the kick, holding number 26 of the receiving team. That 10-yard penalty is administered from the end of the kick. First down.
So it's 45 yards on the punt, nothing on the return. They'll back him up another 10 yards, so a gain of 55. That works in the Seahawks' favor. Kurt Menefee, Brock Hewitt here with you at CenturyLink Field. 3-0. Broncos with the lead in this preseason opener over the Seahawks. Denver taking over after the punt and penalty with their 3rd quarterback of the night. It's the rookie out of Missouri, Drew Lock, drafted in the 2nd round.
And he likes to push the ball down the field. Big time arm. A bunch of fades and go routes a week ago. Did not connect on many of those, but he likes to stretch it vertically.
Will start from his own 33. Here's the handoff. Kalfani Muhammad met in the backfield. Marquise Blair.
Hello. Exactly what he does. You just close space. We were chatting with Cody Barton this preseason. And I said, hey, man, you played with Marquise. What was it like defensively? And he said the amazing thing is how quickly, like there's space and then it just disappears.
You did some Utah games last year?
I did. Yeah,
did they hit like this, everybody?
Well, he's the one guy on tape that you're like, you better slide if you're a quarterback and you're anywhere outside the pocket because he's coming for you.
I mean, he and Barton both. Here's the first pass from Locke. Broke it up. Akeem King. Good coverage there in the secondary, but there is a flag down on the sideline.
I think the corners on both sides, the Broncos, the Seahawks, he's asking Pete if they want to go backwards. More likely a hold inside.
Holding. Offense, number 71. That penalty is declined. Brings up 3rd down.
So Austin Sloatman, of course, the Seahawks declined that after the incompletion.
You know, it's hard to find in college football, though, Kurt. And that is those guys that just want to come down and hit. It's become such more of a sideline to sideline, a basketball and grass, a spread system. And to find those Cam Chancellor-like guys, that's why he was taken in the 2nd round, because he seeks out contact.
3rd and long. Pressure. Lock. Caught. Good enough for the first down. Talk about being lucky sometimes. Nico Thorpe on the coverage of Fumagalli, who kind of lucked into a 14-yard gain.
You know what we call that? Throw the guy open. Even if his eyes are closed, if he can turn around, you can't put that ball in a better spot.
I don't think he ever saw it. He's not even looking. Oh, here it is. It works. Pick up a 14 to the 46. And a first down. Muhammad met in the backfield. Austin Calitro. How many times have we said that about the Seahawks defense tonight? Penetration, getting through that offensive line.
Well, Denver is a team that likes to zone run, and Ken Norton, and just kind of talking with the linebackers yesterday and just kind of looking at their mindset. It was find the ball and attack. Come downhill. When you're playing those teams that like that horizontal stretch like Denver does in their run game, when you find that ball and you can pull the trigger, negative plays follow.
Here's Locke. Stepping up out of the backfield. George Aston gets away. Calitro had him short of that first down marker, but second effort by Aston. Nico Thorpe wrapped it up.
It's a big third down now. Just from a field position standpoint, just kind of confidence defensively standpoint as well. Denver just 3 third-down conversions the entire game last week in the Hall of Fame. And third down for Coach Carroll last year, 5th in the league. This was an area they were really good of getting off the field. Found a way to do it here at 3rd and 7.
Broncos have to get to the Seattle 44. Lock with time underneath. Muhammad catches it, but it's going to be short of the first down. Austin Calitro with the tackle.
So Denver go for it in the previous occasion. I think he could do it again. I mean, these are the situations that all of these teams, Vic Fangio would love to practice like they did in the old days. Have double days, be on the field for 6 hours. You're not. You got walkthroughs. You got a lot less time. You don't get many live 4th and 1 opportunities. So, I mean, both teams going to go for this aplenty tonight.
And the Seahawks call a timeout. They're first.
That's an old school Dilfer jersey right there.
Everything about them is old school tonight. On the sideline in the stands, we'll take a quick. Well, 12s, if you want to join the party for a limited time, you can get select Seahawks single game tickets with no fees plus all-in prices starting at just $50. Use promo code SEA19 to unlock this offer. Visit Seahawks.com/tickets before midnight tonight to take advantage of this limited time offer. Seahawk defense trying to get a stop on 4th and 1. Here comes the blitz. They do it. No, they don't. Fool me. Drew Lock faked the handoff to Kalfani Muhammad. The Seahawks bought into it. So did I. Lock kept it and got the first.
And Lock, not a dual threat quarterback per se in college, but a good enough athlete. Actually, was a really good basketball player growing up as well. And the key there is not to rush. When you're a rookie playing your first game, a road game, I know it was in Canton last week, and you got a bunch of run. You pull that ball out, and you're hoping like mad that DN did exactly what Jefferson did there.
Yeah.
So you could sneak around the corner for the first down.
Made the tackle of the ball carrier who didn't have the ball. 8 yards on the run. First down. Lock underneath. Caught by Nick Williams. Deep into Seahawk territory. Finally forced out of bounds by Akeem King. But another big chunk of yardage, this time 24 of the game.
And you're going to see the communication there. Blair looking over to the sidelines. There's that much green grass. And Andre Curtis, the passing game defensive coordinator, Pete walking through that. There was a missed assignment somewhere along the way. A nice job by Locke. You can see Blair is coming. That's 3 plays on this drive that Drew did not make a week ago. And as a young guy, and if you're a Bronco fan, that's what you want out of your second rounder. Gorgeous throw to Fumagalli on the 3rd down. Nice job on the 4th down, and that one really well executed in the face of pressure.
From the shotgun, quick pass out to David Williams. Slips the tackle. Down inside the 10. Brian Monet the first to get there for Seattle. Cody Barton in on the tackle as well.
What's interesting too, Kurt, is the tackling between the tackles, very good. Penetration, very good. But you've seen on the outside, and this is some of the challenging that you own, a situation when you don't live tackle. This is all across the league. This is not Seattle specific. But these are the reps that you need in space, right, to close down on those runners. It's one thing to walk through it. It's another thing to do it without pads on, but full speed. Those are the reps you need.
Slot play, Williams. Jamie Meter in there on the tackles. Shaquem Griffin got a hand on him a little bit in the backfield. That was just enough to slow him down, I think, for Meter.
All of these linebackers have been pretty active coming down. See how Shaquem kept that outside arm free as well, knowing his leverage, knowing containment. And between the tackles, the Seahawks have done a good job bringing those ball carriers down.
Jacob Martin looks like he got some of that turf in his eye, those little rubber pellets. So the Seahawks forced to call a timeout to get him off the field. Third
down, red zone. than a duel, right? Dual situational football possibilities here. The ball has been out of the Broncos' hand in many of these occasions quickly.
Lock with time, looking towards the end zone, incomplete. Kelvin McKnight, the nearest receiver there. Deshaun Shedd on the coverage for the Seahawks, and it'll bring up a 4th down.
Not surprised to see Deshaun in the right spot. That's why he signed back here, a veteran guy that knows this scheme inside and out, and a Seahawks defense that did what it did all season a year ago. Let's keep the opponent largely out of the end zone for touchdowns.
See, McManus made one from 25 yards out earlier. This one will be the same distance. And so far, all the scoring has been off the foot of that guy. Brandon McManus, his second 25-yarder of the night, puts the Broncos up 6-0. And so David Moore and the Seahawks will see if they can match that or more. And we continue here with this opening game of the 2019 preseason.
Can you play fast? That's what all these rookies are always charged and asked to do. And then ultimately, can you take your 4.3 40 speed on the field? Look at that cushion. That is 10 yards of cushion right there. That Denver corner knows this DK Metcalf can run. And to be able to just close that cushion that quickly, Kurt, and then ultimately get back on top of that defensive back, that's what you're putting on tape. Now the throw eventually, unfortunately for Geno, sails just a little bit wide. DK, they actually were having a conversation during the last time out there, just missing that.
It was amazing. He put it in a second gear once the ball got in the air. You could see it. It was Keenan Reynolds. Gets out to about the 13-yard line. Joining us right now is, I wouldn't say Seahawks starting linebacker, but he didn't start tonight. Got a little night off here to start the preseason. KJ Wright. Thanks for joining us, KJ.
What's up, fellas? How's it going?
Hey, you know what? We stand here and we watch. I want to talk to you about your training camp and everything so far, but just the way the linebackers are playing tonight, whether it's Kalitro, whether it's Barton, I mean, these guys have been flying all over the place.
It's been outstanding, man. Just running and hitting, having fun. We told them the night before, just go out there and just play ball. It's the same ball you always been playing since high school and college, and I'm really impressed with these guys so far.
Read and react, right, KJ? You've got to find the ball, and I think that's what's jumped out the most. Tell me how quickly you knew, oh, nice little run here, how quickly you could get the feel that Cody and Ben Burke-Irvin and these young guys had a sense for football and a real grasp of what you guys were asking them to do.
Yeah, I knew early. These guys were probably the smartest rookies we've ever had since I've been here. Just got the playbook really fast and knew the ins and outs of it. And so I was really impressed with these guys, and they're showing how much they knew, here tonight.
Got an injury down on the field right now. George Fant a little slow to get up. And KJ, one of the things I'd like talking to guys about is the training staff is taking a look at Fant. It's just about what they do off the field. And so many guys do so many good things, not only in their communities, but really around the country, around the world, that we don't hear about because they don't go bragging about it. But one of the things that you've been doing is building wells back in Africa. Can you talk a little bit about that program? Yeah,
so I went to Africa last year and went back again this year and just had a tremendous time. And we went out there, got 2 wells built, and I just want to thank everyone that donated, contributed to the cause, because everyone deserved access to clean water. And so I wish I could have seen the smiles on their face. It was just amazing, and I loved it out there.
It's absolutely amazing. I've traveled over Africa a little bit, and the sweetest, kindest people, and it's things that we take for granted. We think you walk in the kitchen, turn the faucet on, water's there. These people, some of them have to walk for miles just to get clean water to drink every day.
Exactly, and the girls are the ones responsible for getting the water. They have to walk several miles every day, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day. And for us to get that built out there just made life so much easier for them. So they could just cook with it, wash clothes with it, and it took a real burden off of the backs.
And I'm going to guess, KJ, that while you guys made an amazing impact on them, that you flew home and their impact on you was probably far greater.
No doubt, no doubt. It just really puts things into perspective. You just, you don't take, the small things for granted. You just really appreciate everything you have because, life is so good for us, and, we just make sure we appreciate everything around us.
How you and Bobby feeling? How's training camp going?
Outstanding, outstanding. We may play next game. Bobby is he's out, I'm out, and so the vet's got a little vet day today, so I believe next week we'll be out there.
Hey, real quick before we let you go, what can we do to help out with your wells?
Just hold off for now. Let me get the game plan to see what I'm going to do next. Okay. When I figure it out, I'll let y'all know.
All right, we'll be the first to know. Thank you. Keep up the good work, brother.
Thank you, guys.
All right, that's KJ Wright. You see the Seahawks call for holding, and George Fant limped off with an ankle injury all while we were doing that interview. So busy little period right there, but the Seahawks will try and get something going here offensively deep in their own territory.
Not surprised to see them go to the run a little bit. Right, we've seen some screens. We've seen Geno in that shotgun a little bit. I think maybe just a little feeling like in this game, it's a 6-0 game, but you still want to establish who you are and give Rashad an opportunity. And you've seen it on a couple of his last runs, an opportunity to just square those shoulders up and show some of that burst that he has.
Back up inside the 10. Geno Smith looking for Penny. Flags down as well. Geno keeping it. This might be another holding call.
I'll tell you what else just jumps out here from the booth as you're watching these Broncos. And Big Fangio, he coaches defense very well.
You think?
Yeah, I mean, it's just simplified, right? You know, Russell's not in here, and Geno's in with a lot of young people, so Brian Schottenheimer wants to keep it simple.
Illegal use of the hands, hands from the face, defense number 56. 5-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
So that's on Dakota Watson, the linebacker for the Broncos, and will give the Seahawks not only an automatic first down, but more importantly for them, I think right now, a little bit of breathing room.
Yeah. And you're not getting overly complex route combinations. You're not getting check with me's. You're just trying to get guys lined up to play fast, to play with some of that tempo. And because of that, on the other side, when you're a well-coached group, you know those route combinations. Denver doing a lot, and that's why Geno's had to hold the ball on a couple occasions. They're just sitting on those routes, reading and reacting pretty well on the defensive side of the ball.
So first down off the play fake. Geno has time out of the tight end spot. Nick Bennett flags down as well. What's it, 3 plays in a row?
Yeah, you're going to see the big offensive lineman hands up in the air. There's some frustration here. Goes Marcus Martin inside, kind of threw his hands up in the air.
Holding, offense number 63. 10-yard penalty, still first down.
Demetrius Knox called for that penalty. And now this is starting to look like that first preseason games where guys, first of all, haven't had a lot of contact, run a lot of plays, but secondly, start to get a little bit winded, a little bit tired.
A little reaching, a little grabbing, a little hands to the face, a little hold. Just those plays, especially in this area of the field, that set you back.
Draw play. Penny fighting his way out across the 10-yard line. Brings up second down after the 3-yard gain. We expected to see Rashad Penny busy tonight. He's had the ball 7 times already. Lone man in the backfield. Off his hands, caught it on the second effort. It's one of those old Moses Malone's missed the shot to get the rebound, so you add to your stats, but you only get 1 catch on that, and another flag down.
Another hold, unfortunately, against Seattle.
Holding, offense number 73. Half minutes to the goal, remaining second down.
Jamarco Jones called for that one.
So you don't think that was intentional?
The tip?
Yeah.
I think you get a little extra credit.
I will say this, between Penny, Carson, J.D. McKissick, and the rookie Travis Homer, those guys very adept. You will see more receptions for those running backs than maybe you've ever seen in Pete's tenure.
Bo Scarborough getting his first carry as Rashad Penny gets a little bit of a breather. Scarborough, the second-year guy out of Alabama. If you're a Washington Husky fan, you remember him not in a good way.
You know, he got some running lanes, and when he gets started, he is a difficult guy. That's been some of the challenge with Penny on many of these runs. He just not had much green grass. Really, the 2 times were in the passing game, the screen and that tip pass, but a nice job by Scarborough there to at least give yourself a chance at your own 12-yard line.
And he put up 180 yards and 2 touchdowns rushing in that semifinal game against the Huskies. 3rd and long. Smith over the middle, wide open, and a good step after making the grab. John Ursula The rookie out of Hawaii.
This guy is just a little baller, Kurt.
23-yard pickup.
You know, these Seahawks got together. Russell brought him down for a couple weeks, Southern California, and he was the guy. Who wins the ping pong game? John Ursua. Who wins the horse game? John Ursua. Who wins the football game? John Ursua. He's just a gamer out of Hawaii. 7th-round pick that they came up and traded for him. Wonderful job of feeling for the space there on 3rd and 14.
There's a flag before the ball was snapped, back in the secondary.
The defense, 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Well, at some point we'll run 2 consecutive plays here.
We've seen this. This is going to be a competitive battle, taking those slot reps from Doug Baldwin. Tyler Lockett will be in there. But whether it's going to be Malik Turner, whether it's going to be Jennings, whether Ursua gets that opportunity, and you know what that shows me right there, just a feel for what's going on around you.
Led the nation in touchdowns last year at the University of Hawaii with 16. Geno Smith rolling, pulling it down, running into Bronco territory, gives himself up after crossing the 45, but showing the good mobility that he has in picking up 13.
It's like I've watched a quarterback here for 9 years do this. It's not there. You take it away, but there's one guy not accounted for, and that's the quarterback. You can cover everybody else down. A nice little lane. And kind of like Drew Lock on the other side. Geno's not going to win any 40 race, but if the opportunity's there, he can move the chains with his legs.
And he is mobile and comfortable doing it as well. We have reached the 2-minute warning. Seahawks with a good drive going into Bronco territory. How will they finish it off?
Seahawks football is presented by Washington's Lottery. Take it to 12 with Seahawks Scratch from Washington's Lottery. You could win $75,000 or a chance to hang with Seahawks legend Cliff Averill. Back here live at CenturyLink Field in Seattle, the Seahawks trailing the Broncos 6-0 at the 2-minute warning. Aaron Levine alongside Dave Wyman. Not too much offensively from the Seahawks in the first half, but we've seen some big hits on defense and especially on special teams.
Yeah, Marquise Blair, and you mentioned special teams, Barkevius Mingo, great, but Austin Calitro really stood out to me, and he's a guy that played pretty well, filling in a couple of times last year, and he's having a big night as well.
Hopefully the Seahawks can get some points on this final drive of the half. We'll have stats and analysis coming up in a few minutes, but back to Kurt and Brock.
All right, guys, you see Geno Smith just flushed out and forced to get rid of it.
About the 3rd time now, and between the 40s, coordinators like to take their shots. So not surprised to see a play action shot play down the field. That's about the 2nd or 3rd time, though, where credit these Broncos. I mean, on the back end, there are just not people running free. I know you're watching this and wondering why Geno's not firing it down the field. It's pretty good coverage, and Geno's doing a good job of protecting the football.
Yeah, if you're just joining us, Geno started the game tonight. Russell Wilson getting the night off. He's played the entire first half. Has Smith. And he hands it off to Bo Scarborough.
And there's another flag.
Yep.
And there's another flag.
It was a fairly clean first half until this drive. Brad Allen's been busy.
Holding. Defense, number 93. 5-yard penalty. Automatic. First down.
Draymond Jones, the defensive end, called for the penalty.
That must be a focal point here for these officials. We see this in the preseason.
It is one of those points of emphasis.
Yep.
They wanted to try and balance it out a little bit and call defensive holding more this season. We have seen it tonight.
Jamie Meter for the Seahawks on their side, and that time even the rookie getting called for it.
So first down to the 36. Scarborough again. Good job of getting away from an ankle tackle.
You may be asking, what is defensive holding from a defensive lineman? Well, it's just you're not going for the tackle and you actually hold that offensive lineman, that guard or that center. It's usually one of those D tackles right between, right, that are just trying to hold on and not allow those guys to get on a double team or get to that second level and get a block.
Seahawks going with their 2-minute offense. No huddle. Low snap. Smith picks it up. He's got Metcalf diving, but gonna be just too far. That close.
Yep, that's twice now. Those are 2 shot plays. And I think for DK, he's going to be a little frustrated. He's going to feel like it doesn't matter. You just give me a chance. I'm going to go get it. First one drifted wide. I love this play by Geno Smith. And DK kept himself alive on that. And it literally is just inches for the big receiver.
I think Pete thought he had it too.
Yep.
Geno Smith brings it down. He goes down awkwardly. Malik Reed. Reed with the stop. Geno looks to be okay.
I think Pete will take this clock down, and the field goal will again be from 53, 54 yards if you're going to go that route.
Well, this is the deepest the Seahawks offense has gone all night. They'd made it to the 38-yard line before missing that 56-yard field goal attempt. Right now they're at the 37, so this would be about a 55-yard kick.
You see Pete there just walking through that with Brian Schneider, the special teams coach, and Jason Brott here to really answer that quick kicker question, which has been a bit challenging the last couple years.
He had 5 50-yard field goals last year, or 50 or more, which is why he made it into the Pro Bowl. Missed his only chance tonight. And as of now, Geno's still out there with the offense. Here we come.
Hey, by the way, welcome back to Seattle. Your first 2 kicks are not going to be at 25 yards. They're going to be from 56 and 55.
Let's see what you can do. Tyler Ott with the snap. Michael Dixon on the hold. Gets down cleanly. And this one stays inside the upright.
No doubt.
And so the Seahawks get on the board with 40 seconds left in the first half. A good 55-yard kick from Jason Myers, making the head coach happy. Eventually making the head coach happy.
Look at Coach Sean Hammer had to follow that one all the way through. I don't know how many other kickers around the league all preseason are going to attempt their first 2 kicks in a game from 56 and 55. He hit one from 60 the other day at practice and training camp with ease.
Yeah, that one drifted a little bit right at the beginning, and you're like, uh-oh, here we go again, but it just stayed there and inside the upright.
And we are also hyper-focused on the field goals, which is appropriate. Those are the scoring plays. But this phase of it as well, the kickoff phase and the kickoff coverage phase, and every single yard in the special teams game is another reason they signed him to a big deal. Powerful leg.
Quick kickoff. That's Craycraft. Former Cougar. Stopped by Markevius Mingo. That's his 2nd tackle tonight on special teams.
And by the way, that's what you want. And Markevius led these Seahawks to 12 special teams tackles a year ago. He loves that phase of it. But that little kickoff right there is a perfect example. That's like a pitching wedge. I know exactly the yardage I want. Myers could boom that ball out of the end zone if he wanted to. But instead, he wants to try to put it with some hang time right on the goal line. So the Mingos and the Shaquem Griffins and those guys can get flying. And not just start that drive at the 25.
Instead, you get a short kick, you get a tackle, you start at the 20. So you pick up 5 yards for your defense, even though it's going to be the end of the first half and Denver takes a knee. That's exactly what the Seahawks wanted on special teams. And so Seattle ends the first half with points. 55-yard kick from Jason Myers. There's been 2 25-yard kicks from the Broncos' Brandon McManus. Nothing but field goals in the first half. So that's the way it starts. The preseason campaign 2019 is underway. First game reaches halftime with the Broncos on top 6-3. Aaron and Dave will join us with a halftime show coming your way right after this. Don't you dare think about going anywhere. Get comfortable. Put your feet up, relax, enjoy, because they've got the kind of knowledge probably you've never seen on a halftime show before. Anywhere. Never.
As we are live at CenturyLink Field in Seattle, Washington, the Seahawks trailing the Denver Broncos 6-3 as we head into the third quarter in just a couple of minutes. But first, let's take a look at the stats from the first half. The Broncos controlling the clock in the stat sheet when it came to yardage, but the Hawks defense holding them to just 2 field goals. They were strong when it mattered.
Yeah, so they gave up a big yardage run, and then were able to stiffen up down near the goal line. So good job by the defense there. Austin Calitro all over the place making tackles too. So really nice to see that. But not much of an offensive fireworks game.
Well, an injury update to George Fant, doubtful to return with an ankle injury. We saw what Geno Smith could do in the first half. Likely going to see some Paxton Lynch in the second half. What are your thoughts on him?
I would think so, yeah, because I think Paxton Lynch needs a ton of game reps and didn't get a lot of that in Denver. And so, I thought Geno, in spite of his stats, looked pretty decent. He's running around, moving away, getting away from sacks, and there's been some seepage coming through D linemen, linebackers, so I thought he managed it pretty well. But I would say probably that's about it, because I know Geno needs to get something done after this game, and so Paxton Lynch can use all the reps he can get.
Well, with the call of the second half, let's head back up to the booth and rejoin Kurt and Brock, guys.
All right, so Paxton Lynch will probably start the second half. We'll certainly see him in the second half, and the thing that can help him more than anything else would be to run the football.
That's right. Yeah, actually, Geno Smith was the leading rusher for the Seahawks in that first half, and I think you're going to see more of that. If you've watched Pete Carroll ball over the years, getting back to the line of scrimmage, when there's all this reaching and grabbing and holding and penalties, just get back to basics and who you are as a team that likes to establish the line of scrimmage.
Geno is back out there. Maybe he will start the second half. We'll see. That's why they play.
And if you're Paxton, you did watch that first half and realize, Paxton's an even better runner than Geno. And there's going to be some opportunities the way Denver's playing the passing game to create. You see Geno there, just 3 of 9. A bunch of those throwing the football away. Protecting the football. There was no turnovers in that first half. Just 4 field goal attempts. And Denver made both of theirs. And Seattle missed just the 56-yarder. But I think running the ball, some of that play action game, and just trying to get back to a little bit of that tempo that you felt on the opening drive for the Seahawks.
And the Seahawks will get the ball first to start the second half. Pete all warmed up. He's not returning, although he probably could. You watch him in practice. He's throwing footballs. He's catching passes. Doesn't look like a guy who's been here for 10 seasons. Still enthusiastic. Still that same energy that he had in year 1. So the rookie, John Ursua, is back deep to take this one. He'll start at his 2-yard line. Gets out to just shy of the 20.
And we'll see Denver there employ the same strategy that the Seahawks have done on their kickoff, and that is, instead of just kicking out of the end zone, put a little hang time on it, force that returner to make a decision. And indeed, we see the former Bronco Paxton Lynch get an opportunity against his old team.
In his 3rd year out of Memphis, only started 4 games in the first 2 years after being drafted by the Denver Broncos. So many expectations on him. Couldn't deliver in those. Was out of football last season after being released by the Broncos. Now trying to make it as the backup to Russell Wilson in a competition with Geno Smith, as Bo Scarborough picks up a couple of yards on first down.
And I'll echo what I said about Geno as far as just a system fit. I think for Paxton, and Brian Schottenheimer is going to keep it and stay in Paxton's lane of what he's comfortable with. And there is enough movement. There's enough play action. I've watched him throw some beautiful passes in training camp, deep down the field. He's got plenty of RPMs and arm strength. It's just the decision making and the speed with which you make those decisions, the area I think with the biggest learning curve for him.
Hand off to Scarborough again. Pushes the pile, picks up maybe 2 more yards. Be 3rd and 4. You think Lynch is not only nervous because he's with a new team, any added factor facing the team that let you go in that first snap?
I don't know if that's nerves. I think that's probably on the other side of, okay, just a competitive grit that, you drafted me, you gave up on me, and now here I get an opportunity my very first time out against you to show what I'm capable of doing. And these are the downs and distance. This is the processing. These are the decision-making moments. You'd sure like to see him be sharp.
The pitch to Scarborough with a block. First down. Chains will move, new set of downs, and we can see what the Seahawk offense can get going here to start the second half. 9 yards on the run by Scarborough.
I like that call. What a crackback, too. What a tremendous block there from Wes Saxton coming down. And that creates some green grass there. And when Scarborough just gets that frame moving north and south, he can do some damage. What do you say, 180 yards in that semifinal against the Huskies? And Lynch likes to see that third down conversion.
They fake it to him. Lynch's first throw in the dirt, incomplete. Gary Jennings, the intended receiver.
And that's just a little rush, right?
Yep.
Your heart's racing.
Yep.
You're telling yourself, I got this, and then the first snap comes as far as that pass goes, and you just rush it, short arm it a little bit. But again, I like the thought there. Just get him on the move. I think he is best when he can just react and play rather than have to sit between those tackles and process.
Working out of the shotgun again. Draw play. Scarborough still fighting. Out to the 35-yard line. Short pickup of 2.
And you know that guy is engaged in every snap, and if it was his choice, he'd probably be playing right now.
No doubt. As I said, I mean, he's missed a couple of fourth and final preseason games, as all veterans do. But this is the first time he has not played this early in the preseason in his entire career.
But that headset is on, and he's walking through this game, I guarantee it, in every one of these plays and coverages and reads. Not missing out on an opportunity to take a mental rep.
Looking for the 43, Lynch. Up top. Good adjustment on the fly. Jazz Ferguson, the rookie, and a flag comes out in the secondary after the play was over. This is a 25-yard gain if it stands.
You know, I asked Russell this last week, I said, what makes you the best deep ball thrower in the game? And he said, keep it simple. Just give my guys a chance. That's all I'm thinking when I throw those deep shots to Tyler Lockett and Doug Baldwin through the years. I want to give those guys down the field the opportunity with enough air and touch to go get it.
Personal foul. Unnecessary roughness, number 21. Defense. A 15-yard penalty is added to the end of the run. Automatic first down.
So this will wind up being a 40-yard gain after the catch and penalty.
And this was a press look. This is man-to-man coverage. And we talk about DK Metcalf and his big frame. Well, what about Jazz Ferguson? He's a top 100 recruit out of high school to LSU. He's a big-time guy as well. And that's a wonderful job of coming back through contact. And a Paxton not overthrowing. Right? Give your big frame receiver the opportunity to go win that jump ball.
6'7" quarterback to a 6'5" receiver. Lynch. Underneath, Terry Wright. Wright knocked out of bounds. Make that Gary Jennings. Nope, it's Terry Wright. Number 9. Here's Lynch. I mean, one thing you see about him, he is 6'7", but he's much more mobile.
Yes.
Than you would think a guy who is that big would be.
And there really is no shortage of velocity. It is just about that overall command, overall touch, and that third down conversion should be a confidence builder. He can rip it.
He pulls it back, keeps it dancing around. Ball came out, but they say he was down. Malik Reed on the tackle. Down by contact.
And this is immediately, okay? It's 3rd and 10. Opening drive, second half, you get a third down, couple third down conversions. You're in scoring distance right now. And I think, yeah, clearly as he's reaching, the ball comes out after the forearm hits the ground. This is where you've got to process the game if you're Paxton. These are the vital reps now on 3rd and 10. Can't go backwards. Right, you got to get rid of the football. You got to see what that defense is doing. Vic Fangio is good on these third down situations. This is what I call quality rep, to just watch him from the neck up play this game.
Deepest penetration by the Seahawks all night. Whistles blow, however.
Prior to the snap, charge timeout. Seattle, they're first. Timeout.
So the Seahawks call a timeout with 10:40 left to try and settle down and get the right play call. Get some points on the board. More points if they. All right, 12s. Now is the perfect time to shop for new Seahawks gear for the entire family at the Pro Shop. Now through August 16th, take an additional 25% off all clearance items at any of 4 Puget Sound store locations. Visit Seahawks.com/pro shop for store hours.
Jazz Ferguson, top of the screen.
Movement. Were they drawn off sides, or did the Broncos jump early?
False start. Offense number 62. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
There's your answer. Makes it 3rd and long, 3rd and longer.
Again, this
Marcus
is
Martin called for the penalty.
This is where you got to protect those points. Ferguson to the top of the screen. He's been a guy and was at the big game at Popkini Stadium over the weekend and made plays down the field. A guy that Lynch is obviously comfortable with.
Ursua in motion.
3-man rush.
Here it comes. Out of the backfield, Nick Ballore, the fullback, is going to be short of the 1st down, but gives him a little bit more room, getting it down to the 25 and gaining 5.
He's the only one. He's the only fullback on this roster. You may actually see him play a little tight end in the 2nd half as well.
He was playing linebacker this week in practice as well.
And he only made 475 tackles up at Central Michigan as a middle linebacker in his college career, but not many of those guys making a living around the NFL. I like to have that skill set on my football team.
Do you think Jason Myers is happy this one's only 43 yards?
Must feel like a chip shot.
Missed his first from 56, made one from 55, and now? Boy, he loves that right side, doesn't he? It gets through, and we are tied. Seahawks football is brought to you by Delta and Lyft. Game days mean more miles with Delta and Lyft. This season, you can get 3 times the miles with Delta on Lyft rides to or from CenturyLink Field for Seahawks games. Simply link your Sky Miles and Lyft accounts at delta.com/Lyft. That's LYFT to start earning. You're still the Lyft driver in your family?
Yeah. About 3 o'clock in the afternoon, once school starts, about 8 p.m. between soccer, basketball, and baseball.
Here's the kick by Myers. Muhammad. Bouncing outside and brought down. Nice open field tackle by Ugo Amadi. Another one of those young rookies, this one out of Oregon.
Yeah, we'll see him play a bunch of nickel here in the 2nd half. And, you know, we've watched the coverage units be so sharp here. This is about the only time the ball gets out. But when you're containment, that is your job. You are the last line of defense, and that's a wonderful job of just closing in on that tackle. And a big return out to the 25. That speaks volumes of that coverage unit tonight.
One of 3 4th-round picks by the Seahawks. Here's Kalfani Muhammad picking up maybe a yard on the play. Sheen Green back there in the backfield. So is Quentin Jefferson.
Brandon Jackson. The line's been very active with their hands. We have called just about every one of those guys' names on the defensive line. And there you see Ben Burkervin, the 5th-round pick, the former Husky, also going to get ample opportunity with Shaquem and crew here in the 2nd half.
Drew Lock still in quarterback for the Broncos. Underneath, his arm was hit as he threw the ball. Good pressure brought by Ugo Amadi.
He's quick.
He is.
And he's going to be one of these guys that has played so much college football, the former Oregon Duck. And whether it's Ben Burkervin, Cody Barton, these guys that have played 3-4 years collegiately. And we saw it earlier with Jacob Martin affecting the quarterback, affecting the passer. Ugo Amadi's got, to me, just watching him play, he just does not look like a rookie. He's got a very good feel for what he wants to do on a football field.
Won the Lombardi Award as the best player in college football last year, regardless of position. Here's Locke from the shotgun, under pressure, gets it off. Pass caught. Jamar Taylor wrapping up Steve Dunbar right away. preventing him from getting the first.
I like this. We've seen a lot of man coverage on third downs, and it's what you have to do in the evaluation process. And Taylor's going to come in and fight for the nickel spot. Amadi's fighting for that nickel spot. Kalen Reed. And just from a purely evaluation standpoint, you want to see those guys, especially on third downs, close that cushion, play good tight man-to-man coverage. It's been pretty sharp tonight for the Seahawks.
And now we'll get a chance to see Amadi return a punt. Took one back for a touchdown last year in his senior season at Oregon. Running room. Flag down after the 12-yard return.
It would be fascinating, and I know these teams do all the study, Kurt, and maybe it's just a bid perception and the reality of the numbers wouldn't be as distinct, but it feels like the yardage lost in the special teams phase.
Holding, number 44 of the receiving team. 10-yard penalty at the end of the kick. First down.
That's on Nick Ballore.
Just in this return game, if you can just simply avoid penalties, holding calls, blocking the back, and I know it's difficult to do at full speed, and you're trying your best to get that block and help your buddy out. Just over the years, the amount of lost yardage of that real estate on the field, and those penalties come in that special teams phase. I mean, just look at it. You're now lining up at the 27, 28-yard line instead of being near midfield. Significant yardage.
Obviously not doing it on purpose, but as they call it, it's the hidden yardage.
Yes.
And those are the ones that you don't see and don't think about. But they make these long drives even longer, more difficult, more conversions. You've got to do on third down. Fewer mistakes that you have to make along the way to keep long drives going. It puts a lot of pressure on an offense. Seahawks back all the way up to their 15-yard line to start this drive. Paxton Lynch. Good pass. Caught by Wes Saxton. And the big tight end rumbles his way out across the 40-yard line.
And one of the other advantages of being 6'7" is in that play action phase, when you put that ball out and watch Paxton just extend the ball in the play action game here. And look at the linebacker's bite. Does a nice job. He hides it actually with that big frame. And he knows exactly where he wants to go with the football. Puts it right on the money.
Just showed up with the Seahawks last week, but in his 5th year now, bounced around the league a lot out of South Alabama. Good run and catch there. Lynch looking deep down the right sideline. Tried to one-handed, but Gary Jennings couldn't bring it in.
I think two things. We've seen this teaching point on a couple different occasions now with both Geno and DK, that time with Paxton and Jennings. You know, these rookie receivers, is you have got to fight for the yardage on the sideline. Don't just run to the sideline. Do all you can for your quarterback to really present him as much space as he can, because you run to the sidelines, and that's what those DBs are doing. They want to use that extra defender, that boundary, and margin for error is 0. You have just very little chance to find a completion at this level.
Quick pass. And that's to another tight end, Jackson Harris, rookie out of Georgia.
No Disley, no Hollister, no Dixon, and Saxon Harris gonna have their opportunity here for Seattle this preseason. Keep the play alive. Third downs, keep the play alive, something Russell Wilson does so well in this down and distance.
Broncos showing blitz. Lynch adjusting. Here it comes. It's flushed out. Runs. Gets it. Justin Hollins caught him from behind. There's Paxton talking to some of his old friends, saying, "You remember how I used to do it, right?"
And he could feel in that jump. You see at the bottom of your screen there, a tremendous off-the-ball jump there for Denver. And as a quarterback, you feel that instantaneous rush, and that's doing exactly what I said before the snap. Keep the play alive. That down and distance, that's the money down, and that is where Russell was as good as anybody in this league at doing it. Paxton's watched him through preseason and OTAs and mini camps. Well done.
Quick pass out to right. Terry Wright breaks a tackle. Shamarko Thomas stops him after a 9-yard pickup. But another big play by a rookie, this one out of Purdue.
Sweet feet. Junior college player there at Purdue in Brom's system, and they throw it all around the yard. And he's one of these guys, or Sua's the same way at Hawaii, in their system that has played so much, just in space, catch and run. And he's got some of the sweetest feet in that receiving crew and showed it right there.
Xavier Turner with his first carry, and look at that.
Oh.
And a flag. That's going to be on a helmet-to-helmet hit after the play. This guy yesterday was not a Seahawk. Hasn't practiced with the team, signed in the afternoon, and now gets the carry tonight. 11 yards, and there will be a penalty to add yardage to it.
How about that for Xavier? He's with the Arizona Cardinals. He's in their camp. He gets released. And a day later, he's flying to Seattle. And oh, by the way, before you even really practice, get ready to run a little inside zone and just put those pads down and run.
There are 2 fouls on the defense. Holding, number 93. That penalty is declined. Personal foul. Lowering the helmet to initiate contact. Defense, half the distance to the goal. Automatic. First down.
Both points of emphasis that you talked about. And in the middle, they're just calling this a 3rd defensive holding call. And there you see at the end of the run. That's what they're trying to avoid. Just keep your eyes up as best you can. Your eyes go down. You get that helmet-to-helmet contact. These officials are going to make that call. That was DeMonte Thomas there at safety, and I know that happens in a split second.
First down from the 13. The end around to Wright. Trying to get outside. Can't quite do it. Picks up a couple of yards. Sniffed out pretty well by this Bronco defense.
That helmet-to-helmet contact was really a point of emphasis last year.
Correct.
And remember, it really didn't play out all that much throughout the season.
We saw it in the preseason, and then it kind of died down a little bit.
That's what they're trying to do for the players, young players like Thomas, is you just want to try to protect those guys as much as possible. And there are times, and we can slow that down, and you can watch it in slow-mo replay, but any former defensive player is going to tell you that happens so fast, and you're just trying to train that technique to keep your eyes up.
Seahawks in the red zone for the first time tonight on offense. Draw play taken by Turner. Xavier Turner. We talked about him just being signed after being in camp with the Arizona Cardinals. He was an undrafted free agent out of Tarleton State.
They are the Tarleton State what?
Yeah, that's what they're the whats, aren't they? Yeah. Don't exactly have that one in my back pocket. I figured you might have done a game or two there sometime. You've been everywhere. You're like the Johnny Cash song. You've been everywhere, man.
I can imagine he's got about a handful of plays that he knows in one day, and one of them is running right behind that offensive line. So a good job here in the second half.
Can they convert the third down? Towards the end zone. Caught. Touchdown, Seahawks. Jazz Ferguson playing sweet music on the first touchdown of the game.
Look at DK out there celebrating right away. That's pretty cool. Just a one-on-one situation. We've seen this on a couple different occasions. This is well read between Paxton and the big-bodied receiver Ferguson. That soft cushion. This play's become so popular in today's game, and it takes some relationship, and both quarterback and receiver have to be on the same page. And you want to talk about blocking out, Larry Fitzgerald style, just block out. Or J.J. Arcega-Whiteside from Stanford, for those West Coast fans that watched him do that so well. Second-round pick to the Eagles. That's the game. And Ferguson's got that ability.
It may have been the most involved blitz has been in a celebration in quite a while. Baston Lynch excited about that touchdown
Good
pass.
Throw. Good drive.
It was. 6-yard touchdown pass. Ended it. Paxton Lynch to Jazz Ferguson. And the Seahawks take their first lead of the night, 13-6. Capping off an 85-yard drive with 7. Jazz Ferguson spent his first 2 years at LSU, wound up being dismissed, went to Northwestern Louisiana. Said he really matured and developed as an individual, not just a football player, and it shows here tonight as he makes the touchdown catch to put the first end zone score on the board.
I may not have been at a Tarleton State Texans game in Stephenville, Texas, but I had been to Baton Rouge, LSU, when that kid was there, and he was a big-time prospect. I mean, a 4-star recruit, and you see the talent there, and I promise you, Jazz Ferguson will remember that touchdown for the rest of his life.
Here's Dexter Jackson. Or Devontae Jackson, pardon me, flags on the play. Kalen Reed with the tackle.
During the return, personal foul, illegal double team block, number 33 and 39. Half the distance to the goal, first down.
And that was one of those rule changes last year to try and open up the kickoff.
Yeah, you cannot at any time be shoulder to shoulder with somebody in the return game. Right, you can initiate a block and you can have somebody then come help on the double team, but anytime there is no such thing as a wedge anymore. That had already been eliminated, and now they are eliminating just that shoulder to shoulder block, a point of emphasis that will be called over the course of the season.
So the Broncos begin this drive at their own 8-yard line. Drew Lock still the quarterback. Rolling on the bootleg. Keeps it. Being chased down and forced out of bounds. Ben Burr-Kirby. You're a former Husky. You know, you look at the performance of the Seahawks tonight, considering especially so many starters did not play, Pete Carroll has to be pleased with the way his team has played on both sides. All three faces of the ball, really.
Oh, I don't think there's any question about that. And I think Pete and his staff believe that they're young players. Right, those players that are 26 and under that the league may not know, right, that have gotten their feet wet a little bit, they feel there has been so much growth and development. And roster spots 26 through 53 are going to be as competitive as they were back in the heyday when the thing was rolling in 13 and 14.
Here's Luck. Quick pass out to Muhammad. He's wrapped up right away. Jamar Taylor on the stop.
And you can look at the running back room. You can look at the receiver room. You can look at the linebacker room. You can look at a bunch of secondary, a bunch of different spots where you have just so many young players. Right? You may not have that 28 to 32-year-old, right, that's been a veteran guy that, you know, like when they got cut in 13 and 14, signed everywhere and anywhere. But you've got young guys they are so excited about. See, really flourish, and it's a big reason why so many of them are going to play this preseason.
And I think it's one of those things that we tend to forget. When Pete Carroll came here, this is a team that had 1 year under Mora, 7-9 the first 2 seasons, although they did win the division 1 year. As Luck gets out, flag goes down. But I think the consistency of Pete Carroll is taken for granted. I mean, this is a team that's in the playoff, or at least the playoff hunt, every single season. They've made it 6 times. He's won double-digit games.
Holding. Offense number 69. Half the distance to the goal. Third down.
And he's going to say, hey, listen, the first iteration that when we built it the first time, we developed Cam Chancellor and Richard Sherman. They weren't ready-made, right? We developed and we groomed them, and they grew in the system. And to Pete, that's where Tedrick Thompson is. That's where Shaq Griffin is. That's where Trey Flowers is. That's where some of these young ascending players are. Where Chris Carson is. With Shaq Payne, go through this list. That's why there's so much excitement in their building, and why you're going to again see them play more this preseason than ever before.
Defense coming on third down. Sacked in the end zone. That should be a safety. Deshaun Shedd gets the credit, but he wasn't alone.
Now he is one of the more experienced guys. It's been around here a long time, and I know loves being back in this building, where he got engaged just a couple years ago in midfield, and oh, does he love to see that. Unaccounted for in the blitz pickup, not a surprise when second and third stringers are in there. You see the lack of communication between running back and O-line, and a rookie quarterback. It's going to have a grade sheet with a big old critical error to not get rid of it before Deshaun could score the 2 points. and peek into his dance.
And Pete is just as enthusiastic now as he was 10 years ago when he took over this Seahawks team. He's turned them into a consistent performer. Deshaun Shedd, a big part of it before, and tonight again. Well, Deshaun Shedd has barely stopped smiling there during the timeout we were watching him on the sideline. Why shouldn't he?
One of those moments of truth right there. We've had a few of these tonight. Right, Drew Lock on that 4th down. I said he that split second where he's hoping the end takes it. Deshaun on that blitz. He knows he's coming. And he's hoping that running back does not see him, does not pick him up, so he can do exactly what he did, finish for a safety.
Flag full is flying. Ugo Amadi with the return, and it looked good, but let's see what all the yellow flags are about. 1, 2, 3 of them right there.
I will tell you, I think it's about our 5th time where we've had very definitive calls from this crew. It's not been one flag.
No.
Did you see what I saw? Yeah, did you? Yep.
Well, I think they're trying to count right now. How many?
And then it becomes about, okay, there's 3 flags dropped in 3 different spots. Now, look, see how they move it all to one spot? That's important because that is where the penalty is actually marched backwards from.
During the return, holding, number 44, 10-yard penalty, first down.
And after all that, 1 penalty. Nick Bellore, that's the 2nd time he's been called tonight on special teams. Lone fullback on the roster.
And again, those hidden yards, right? You talk about that phase of the game, the return game, of where you're just starting those possessions and starting those drives. And if you can eliminate that.
Instead of being near midfield, Seahawks are back to their own 31. Lynch. All kinds of time over the middle of the field, and there's Ferguson again breaking tackles and taking it into Bronco territory. 23 yards on that game.
Write your own story. Right, the big receiver for the Seahawks, and what a wonderful route there. Wow, that is very well done for a big guy. Right there, changing direction on that route, turning around a much more undersized corner. He's shown you how he can use the big frame on the jump ball, block him out in the end zone. That time, that is a smooth route for someone that's 6'5" and almost 230 pounds.
Here's Lynch to the air again. Maybe. Pulls it down and runs. Plenty of room down in the middle of the field. Takes a slide after crossing the 30. More chunk yardage for the Seahawk offense. 18 on that run.
I think this got to be the most fun that kid has had playing football since Memphis. You feel the weight of expectation as a first-round pick for John Elway? You're supposed to be the answer. You were not. You were not ready to play. But when you're 6'7" and you're athletic, I don't think I've seen him. Honestly, I watched him in Memphis. And he had some amazing games at Memphis, some big wins in his way to being a first-round pick. And he played with some of this just flair, some of this joy to play, punching blitz in the stomach, kind of like that guy does. Paxton's got to be having fun tonight.
And he's having some success.
And against his old team.
Hangs on to that one, gets rid of it. Right decision. Flagged out, however. Back in the secondary.
Holding, defense number 59, 5-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Called on the linebacker Malik Reed. Automatic first down. Change move.
And I'll say this about Paxton, just watching him through the OTA season, the minicamp season, and training camp, he's had ups and downs, which you would expect in a new system, especially one that's as complex as it is when Russell is in the game and running it. And there have been days where he's made throws where you're like, okay, yep, now I see it. And there have been other days that have been, very, very rough. But this is a really good half of football in a competition, and he's absolutely battling with Geno Smith in.
The handoff taken by Xavier Turner. Keep in mind, his first pass tonight was short-armed into the dirt. But since then, he's gotten on a roll. He's gotten the Seahawks into the lead. 3 quarters through this opening preseason game, Seattle on top 15-6 over the Denver Broncos. While Brock Hewitt alternates between air guitar and air drums, we want to remind you that Seahawks football is presented by Washington's Lottery. Take it to 12 with Seahawks Scratch from Washington's Lottery. You can win $75,000 or a chance to hang with Seahawks legend Cliff Averill.
I don't even know how good my mullet was in the 90s. Or G&R back in the day.
There's some pictures somewhere, trust me.
All right, Paxton, keep it going. Great third quarter. This is where you got to keep building on it, though.
To the air. Out of the backfield, Xavier Turner. Smart. And that's going to be right at that first down marker. Looked like he got enough. It's going to be close.
The Texan from Charlton State, they emailed me, made it very, very clear. This is smart. This is a little slant go. He wants to push the ball down the field, but then ultimately both quarterback and the guy that showed up 2 days ago know where the escape valve is to not just force that ball down the field.
They pick up the first down, just getting it up. Paxton Lynch, 9 of 11. One touchdown pass as well. And he hands this one off on the draw play.
Preseason football has a funny way of doing this, doesn't it, Kurt? Every single year we've done this together. And you go in, and here's our players to watch, and here's our stories, and it's Big DK, and it's Cody, and certainly those guys made some of their plays. But it's Paxton Lynch, it's Jazz Ferguson, it's Terry Wright, it's these guys that when the lights go on, it's one thing on the practice field. But when you're playing here in these game minutes, who comes to life? It's been that cast of characters here in the second half.
Here's the draw play taken by Turner. Broncos not fooled that time. Joe Deneen on the stop. There's Brian Schottenheimer, his second year as the offensive coordinator. And this is an offense that came in last year, finished ranked number 6th in scoring in the league, number 1 in rushing.
What do we think of that jacket tonight?
It's different. I mean, it's team issued, so I don't think it was his personal choice.
Right.
It's different. We just move on to third down.
Where's Jazz?
Lynch putting it down. Got running room. Trying to dive, leans over, and gets the touchdown.
Don't mess with him, blitz.
Dance, young man. What a second half it's been for Lynch. Wow. Against his former team, he is loving it.
You know, and this isn't fluky, right? I mean, there's some times that, you know, plays happen for you. You got guys open, whatever. He's made the right read on checkdowns, right? He's throwing precision passes in the red zone. He's felt what's going on around him here and has an awareness to put his shoulder down when you're 6'7", 230 pounds. Clearly gets into the end zone. And somewhere Lee Steinberg, his agent, is watching this going, I told Coach Carroll, this kid has game. Does he have to develop? Yes. Are there aspects of it that are really raw? Is one half of football going to prove all the critics wrong? Are there going to be headlines in Denver that they were wrong? No, especially not in the second half of preseason game 1. But all he can do is deliver in the opportunities he's getting, and he's doing more than that here in the second half.
9 yards on that touchdown run. He's got 4 carries, 38 yards, so a 9-yard average and a touchdown rushing. 9 of 11 passing, 163 yards, and a touchdown passing. Hard to do much better in 1 quarter and 2 minutes.
And there's days on the practice field you watch and you would not think that that is possible today. And as I said, there's other days you see glimpses of it. And now you've seen it for a good chunk here in the second half, and he's been the big-time difference here in the second half.
He certainly has performed once the lights came on. Obviously the best we've seen him in Seattle since he's only played a half, but probably the best we've seen Paxton Lynch in his young career.
Ever.
If you want to be as excited as this guy, all you got to do is come here, cheer on your team live and in person on game day. Single game tickets for the next Seahawks preseason home game against the Raiders on August 29th are still available, but they're going fast. Don't miss out. Visit Seahawks.com/tickets right now. Do you think he knows there's a camera there? He is pumped up, man. looking for some seatmates, maybe. So after the impressive drive by Paxton Lynch to the Seahawks offense, Jason Myers will kick it off, taken by Devontae Jackson. Let's get down to the sideline where the flag's on the play, but right now we're going to bring in starting left tackle Dwayne Brown. Dwayne, we'll get the call here 1 second and get to you in a minute.
All right.
As soon as Brad Allen figures it out, because I know that you don't want to miss what this call is on special teams. We've rarely seen a flag tonight.
During the return, personal foul, lowering the helmet to initiate contact, number 41 of the kicking team. 15-yard penalty, first down.
All right, some bonus yards for the Seahawks as we get back to Mr. Brown. How you doing, first of all?
Doing pretty good, man. How about yourself?
All right. Look, you've gone through training camp. It's been about 2 weeks here. You get a little time off here to get ready to start. As a veteran, with a veteran offensive line, are you able to feel comfortable with where you are at this stage of the preseason despite not playing tonight?
Definitely. I think, you know, a lot of us have played a lot of football in this league. We're very comfortable with what we can do on Sundays. This is the time for a lot of the younger guys who don't have as much experience to kind of get their feet wet, get adjusted to the speed of the game. We got a lot of work together in training camp through practices, and we'll play some next week and the week following and continue to get our chemistry down.
Dwayne, this is your 12th year in this league. You've watched a lot of preseason games. What was your counsel to these young guys tonight as some of them were playing their first?
Just have fun with it, you know. This is a game we've been playing our whole lives. You know, play smart, play hard, play with confidence. You know, you're here for a reason. Just go out there and put on a show.
You know, there's a lot of talk, you know, this preseason here, and in the papers about Russell Wilson, this offense, Coach Schottenheimer evolving, moving it forward, Dwayne. Where do you feel like you guys are in year 2 under Coach Schottenheimer than you were 1 season ago at this point?
I feel great. You know, we all got adjusted to the system last year, all bought into what, you know, the coach's philosophy. We led the league in rushing. We did a great job just trying to take another step, continuing improving the run game, continuing pass protection. We have a lot of playmakers on offense, you know, and start with Russ and, you know, Chris Carson. You know, we got some guys in the receiver position. We're looking forward to what we can do. So I think we can be in a very explosive offense.
No, but on the flip side of that, you also go up against a lot of these young pass rushers. What's it been like watching some of the growth and development of Jacob Martin and Barkevius playing end, matching up with those guys?
It's been great. You know, a lot of speed off the edge. Jacob Martin, Barkevius, Cassius Marsh. Those guys give us great looks, you know, and as a veteran player, you know, we just feed off each other. Iron sharpens iron. You know, I show them what works for me against them. They show me what works, you know, and we just try to make each other better every day.
All right, well, thanks for joining us. Good luck through the rest of training camp. Stay healthy.
All right, thank you, guys.
All right, he mentioned Jacob Martin. His sack made it a long 3rd down situation for the Broncos. They don't complete the pass, but there are penalties.
Holding, offense number 79. Holding, defense number 34. Those penalties offset. Repeat, 2nd down.
All right, Simeon Thomas called on the Seahawks secondary for the penalty. Chaz Green called for the Broncos, and it's basically a do-over.
And I think Dwayne Brown and this offensive line is the best Russ has had.
I don't think there's any question.
And, you know, early on, and Brown Giacomini and you know, the Bigfoot Max Unger, those guys push people around. But I think the experience and the talent and the confidence that that group is playing with going into the season, I know it's making 3 very comfortable.
Barkevius Mingo got an amazing jump, and it was too good because there's a flag down on his side.
Neutral zone infraction. Unimpeded to the quarterback, number 51. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
You know, it's interesting in this phase of the game as well, Kurt. This is also where you evaluate your depth. Like, we can talk about it all we want, but ultimately watch these guys play on your roster. In Vic Fangio, first-year guy, turning over the program, whole new system. Ken Norton has been here. This is now his 2nd year coordinating. Coach Carroll has been here. And I think you're just feeling the depth of this roster, the depth of this team in this 2nd half as much as anything else.
Can they get another stop here on 3rd down? Locke threw that too low, incomplete. River Craycraft, the intended receiver, and so the Broncos will be forced to punt.
Yeah, and that safety and that hit and the hands in the face earlier, those play the role in that incompletion. Because that's when actually Drew had enough time. He had a window of opportunity, and look at the teaching of Shaq Griffin to the youngster. I like that. But that early pressure on Drew Lock, just getting him unsettled, is big an influence in that incompletion as anything else.
There's Ugo Amadi back to take the punt.
No penalties, please.
Low kick. Gets a Bronco bounce. Amadi scoops it up. Still alive on the sideline. Hit out of bounds. There's a flag down on the play. I don't think it was on the hit afterwards, but let's see. Looks like it's before he was knocked out of bounds, and it may be against the Seahawks.
During the kick, holding, receiving team number 35. Half the distance to the goal from the end of the kick. First down, timeout.
Deshaun Shedd called on that one. Seahawks will take it over on offense and start trying to run a little bit of clock here with 11:19 left to go in the fourth. Final quarter of this preseason opener. Seahawks have gotten a couple of touchdowns from Paxton Lynch in the second half. One through the air to Jazz Ferguson, and then one on the ground with a 9-yard score on their last possession. Thus, the 22-6 lead. 22 straight points scored after being down 6-0 by Seattle. Starting from their own 5-yard line, here comes the blitz. Pass caught. Ferguson. They get the big body down after a short 1-yard pickup. You know, Ferguson is another one of those guys we talk about when the lights come on. Signed late.
Yep.
Got through practice, but then last week at the scrimmage was maybe the star receiver of it, and tonight has shown up well here as well.
Yeah, they were excited. You know, after the draft, he's one of those undrafted rookie free agents, and go look at that list, including a Doug Baldwin, of what you can do when given opportunity. It doesn't matter where you start in it. Came into camp and the OTA is a little bit heavy, has cut a bunch of weight, and you're just seeing the natural athleticism come to life.
Lynch under pressure in the end zone, gets rid of it. Nick Bellore. And the fullback fights his way out to the 11-yard line, give him 5.
And I like both those play calls. That's not just, hey, we're up 22-6 and let's just run 2.5 minutes. No, let's put Paxton Lynch back there. And let's continue to see how he makes decisions. And when the corner blitz comes from the edge, does he see it? Yes, he does. That time, knowing you're in the end zone, unlike Drew Lock, who took a safety, right? He had the urgency to find his check down and get the ball out of his hand. I mean, these are calls that you make because you want to see him handle these different situations.
And letting the play clock run here before snapping the ball. Turner. Busy second half for Xavier Turner, just signed yesterday.
Okay, now it's Michael Dixon time, right? One of the guys that was the stars of last preseason.
Remember last year, we were talking, there's this 5th-round punter they drafted out of Texas, and people are like, how can you be that excited about a punter? But if you watched him in practice and then you saw him in games, and then you saw him in the regular season.
Yep. What, first team All-Pro? And first Pro Bowl punter since Rick Tootin here with the Seahawks.
Booming kick. River Craycraft. Good coverage by the special teams unit for Seattle once again. Ugo Amadi there in on the tackle.
4.71 hang time.
Well, if you come to the stadium this season, a couple of new things to keep in mind. We've already mentioned how you can get extra miles on Delta by using Lyft, but they've opened up this perch area 3 hours before the game. You can come, you can hang, you can be entertained before the game even starts with a live DJ. Brock may play some air guitar for you. You never know what happens.
And then, Claire, you get into this stadium and into a lot of stadiums around the country. I think a lot of times you think Clear and it's just the airport where you spend a lot of time at a fee. It's much more than that, and such a huge advantage and opportunity in this building.
Devontae Jackson on the carry. Nico Thorpe with the stop.
Look at Nico Thorpe, and one of the guys who's been around here a little bit. And I'll tell you, we started this show tonight, Kurt, and we talked about Pete Carroll, right? And this being the tipping point for him, that he's now going to be a Seahawk longer than he was at USC. and the continuity with John Schneider. Also some change and yet some continuity with Chuck Arnold. And another voice there for Coach Carroll that he's comfortable with, that he has great confidence in now, President. And it just makes an enormous difference as it trickles down on the field.
Wide open, Drew Lock finds his receiver, Austin Fort, the tight end, but unfortunately he may have injured himself. That does not look good. Rookie tight end out of Wyoming, and he had no one in front of him when he went down. Let's take a brief timeout while they attend to Fort. Well, you never want to see anyone injured, but particularly in a preseason game, and it's always scary when you see a guy go down untouched.
Yeah, just one of the rare vertical routes that Denver found tonight. A seam right behind Ben Burr-Curvin there. And Austin Fort, the rookie, undrafted free agent out of Wyoming. I actually saw Brian Greasy, Steve Levy doing the call for Denver. Saw those guys before the game. And just said, hey, give me a couple names of guys that have been pleasant surprises. And they both pointed to the camp in the offseason that Austin was having. Remember, he's playing. Jake Butt has had multiple knee injuries there. Tight end out of Michigan for Denver as well. And that's unfortunate.
So they'll cart him back to the locker room. He held on to the ball, picked up 29 yards to the 29-yard line. First down, Broncos. Lock, pressure, steps up, skips that one there, incomplete. Flag down on the play.
That's going to be hold on Jacob Martin, who once again, we've seen this now a couple times, and you should see this from Jacob Martin.
Holding. Offense number 79. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Chaz Green called for that, trying to stop Jacob Martin.
Yeah, you know, last year I would hope a Frank Clark or maybe even a Jaron Reed took Jacob Martin to dinner a couple times, because it was his harassment. It was him pushing the pocket at times to lead to sacks for others, and you know, that shows up as a holding call. That was all number 58 there, and just getting into the backfield, forcing that penalty. 59, excuse me.
6th-round draft pick last year. Low snap. Lock. Scrambling out of the backfield, Williams. Going to dance across that first down marker before Deshaun Shedd made the tackle. 11 yards on that pickup as we reach the midway point of this fourth quarter. A couple of field goals by the Broncos early, gave them a 6-0 lead. A couple of field goals by the Seahawks, tied it at 6 at halftime, but since then, a touchdown pass from Paxton Lynch to Jazz Ferguson, and a touchdown run by Paxton Lynch, and the Seahawks are up by 16. Again out of the backfield is Williams. David Williams forced out of bounds. Kalen Reed, interesting young man out of southern Mississippi. He seems to be getting an opportunity to show what he can do at that slot cornerback.
Yeah, that is going to take all 4 preseason games between Kalen and Ugo Amadi, who has played really fast tonight. You know what you have in Deshaun Shedd. Akeem King played that nickel down the stretch last time into the playoffs very well. That will be a battle all the way to the end.
Under pressure from Jacob Martin. Locke gets rid of it, forced to throw it too high for Devontae Jackson. And you talked about the pressure that Martin can bring. There's the perfect example.
Yeah, he's just a different kind of fast. And if you're doing it in the regular season as a rookie last year for Coach Carroll, this is what you want to see. You want to see him take that next step, especially when he's unblocked there. He closes that space in a hurry.
We've seen the Broncos go forward on 4th down a couple of times tonight, but this is the longest 4th down they'll attempt to convert.
There's been a lot of man-to-man coverage in these downs and distances.
Lock. Incomplete. No flags. So the Broncos will turn it over on downs. You can see Jeremy Boykins was standing there. For a second, I think he wondered, am I going to get called for something? There are no flags anywhere.
Yeah.
It's like that was too easy. Oh, we've seen this Seahawks defense force the Broncos to turn it over on down a couple of times tonight as well. And we'll see what Paxton Lynch can do now with 6 minutes plus left. Starting at the 23, Xavier Turner spinning his way out for a yard.
On that 4th down, and I've said this at least a half a dozen times, 3rd and 1, 4th down, some other 3rd down situations, just press man, right? Just the Seahawks doing what they do, and whether it's Boykins that comes into the game or any of those safeties that got to come down and cover down linebackers, you're going to just stress those guys. You want to see that. You want to see them in those one-on-one situations, and they've won many of those short yardage situations.
Lynch holding on to it, gets rid of it. No receivers in the area.
And you saw his little conversation right after the snap, right? Those are those little ones that you'll get every once in a while. And that is what this running back that was just signed yesterday. And it was, hey, I know you know about 3 plays, but this one, just fake it. Okay, this could be the play action off of that inside run.
Sometimes it's that simple.
Sometimes it is that simple. And in
preseason,
fact, in the West Coast system, funny story, they have a call called a tom call. Right? Those guys that played in the West Coast system, what is a tom call? You know what a tom call started with? Joe Montana telling Tom Rathman, no, this side, that you literally move from this side to that side in the protection.
And it means the opposite?
And to this day, it's still called a tom call.
Okay.
Yep. Why do we call it a tom call? What does this even mean? It's just a tom call, okay? That's what it is.
Well, that's called a completed catch to John Ursua for 13 yards and a 1st down.
And that's called Paxton Lynch, once again giving his guy an opportunity. Throw it down and away. Probably does not see the defender, Paxton, when he throws it. And Ursua absolutely gets underneath the ball. The ball does not move. I think that's going to be a catch.
Well, it was called a catch. The Broncos are now challenging. Vic Fangio going to lose this one.
There's no challenge on the play.
Yeah.
It's an incomplete pass, 4th down.
Oh, incomplete.
Well, they called it a completion before, so someone must have come in and overruled it. Now Pete is wondering, wait a minute.
Well, Pete said he was not going to go home with his challenge flags. That was going to be a goal of his.
I think he's confused because it was called a catch. Denver challenged, and then they said don't challenge because we're calling it an incompletion. So they overturned the call somewhere along the way. I don't know where.
Yeah, I think you've got to throw the challenge flag and take a look at that one. Yep, he will. Rightfully so.
So this went from a catch, Denver challenging and calling it a no catch, to a no catch call, and then Pete challenging and calling it a catch.
To another piece of gum in the mouth.
Well, you got to do that to ride through the challenges. You need a fresh piece. You know, these replays can take a little while. And so my belief is that this one will get overturned and called a catch as it was originally.
Challenging the ruling on the field of an incomplete pass.
Yeah, I think the only question here is, does he get his hand underneath it as it makes contact with the ground as the ball move? And I think he secures it. This is the key here. Hand is underneath, almost the wrist is as well. Now, does the ball move there, or does he secure it and bring it into his belly?
Now, to keep in mind, since this was called officially
incomplete,
no catch on the field, they have to see evidence to overturn it. If they can't prove that it was indeed a catch, they have to stay with what the call was on the field, which on second chance was called incomplete.
And that is where that keyword stands comes into play.
Exactly. I think Pete's wondering why he had to waste one of his challenges. Now, it is the preseason, and you are up by 16 points with 5.5 left, but still, He had to waste one of his challenges on something that was called one way on the field to begin with.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. Seattle is charged with a challenge and loses the timeout. It's an incomplete pass, 4th down.
And that's where it stands. If it had been called a catch, it was going to stand as a catch.
Yeah.
Understand that word and how important that word is in these replays. If this is called a catch and Vic challenges it, Vic Fangio on the other side, it was going to stand as a catch because it was called incomplete, I guess. Initially, it's going to stand as incomplete.
Whenever they say stands, that means we cannot see enough evidence to overturn it. Confirmed mean the evidence did confirm their call. And so they stay with the call of incompletion, and instead, Nick Williams will have to try and survive this punt.
Shaquem Griffin was flying down that field.
He's looked good on special teams tonight.
You know what I love about the Griffin brothers? They don't miss practice. Ever. I mean, those two simply love to play ball. I liked reading and just looking around the building. You know, yesterday was we were in there meeting with coaches and players, and you just see that, just love to play, love the game, and you can see the two brothers there. Those two love to play this game of football, and it shows. And he's disappointed he didn't make that hit as he did on the opening kickoff, but flying down there set the table for his buddies to clean it up.
Broncos begin the drive at the 31. Pass caught by the tight end Morrill Stevens. Tackled by Simeon Thomas. Thomas was a 6th-round draft pick by the Cleveland Browns last year. Spent most of the season on the practice squad before being released out of Louisiana Lafayette. Quick pass the other way. Brandon Langley. Jamar Taylor right there. Looks like he got enough for the 1st down. He did.
This is all about one thing for Seattle, and you have seen this through the years. You keep it's the very basis of everything they do, anything, to stay on top. But in this situation, game management, you're keeping everything in front of you.
Here's Locke to the air, almost picked off. That pass was tipped at the line of scrimmage, I believe. Ugo Amadi got one hand on it. He was that close. Had he gotten that, there was no one in front of him. No, it just came out wobbly.
Do you see his eyes and awareness? Do you see that as he was dropping back? It is that quick glance of what is going on around me. I said it earlier, the guy just knows ball. He is going to be in this competition. And that quickness and that awareness is something that projects and plays really well.
Here comes the blitz. Pass incomplete. Flags everywhere, though. The big hit, Marquise Blair, going to be called for the penalty. Nick Williams, the intended receiver.
Personal foul. Unnecessary roughness, number 27, defense. 15-yard penalty. Automatic. 1st down.
Well, Pete said he wanted to see Blair hit tonight.
Yeah.
Wanted to keep it within the rules, however.
Well, we have seen it on a couple different occasions. And I think Marquise is saying, I'm getting my head out of the way.
Yeah, he's defenseless at that point.
Yeah.
And that's going to get called every time.
It is. In today's game, it is. In Paul Moyer's era, the former safety who's up here doing pre- and post-game radio, not called. Pete Carroll's era, not called. Today's game, that is. Now, collegiately for Marquise, that's a targeting call.
There was some discussion about adding the targeting rule to the NFL. What do you think? Would you like to see it added, or?
I think that FedEx envelope that comes and sits in the locker on Mondays is usually a pretty good punishment. And that is the fines that get levied on hits like that. And even in preseason games,
the replay official has stopped the game for a possible review of disqualification.
So they're going back and looking at that, and that is one of the things, again, that was added last year, is that the replay official is not a targeting rule, but they can, if a penalty is called on a play, look at that play and eject players who are involved in it, whether it's for a fight, whether it's for a hit to the head, whatever. But a penalty has to be called on the play. They can't just randomly throw guys out.
So I know, and in fact, I got a text from a former safety and an all-pro safety in the NFL who texted me earlier and didn't like the commentary about the helmet-to-helmet hit. So what do you want these defensive players to do? What will be the teaching point for Pete Carroll to Marquise Blair tomorrow? Because you know what you don't want to do? You don't want to take his stinger away. He wants to go hit. You don't want him to totally lay off of that situation. And you know what, Drew Lock? And I say this all the time. That's on you too, pal. Is a quarterback to hold the ball like that and throw it late down the middle where you know a single safety is lurking, you bear some of that responsibility as well. And is the coaching point hit him lower? Is the coaching point not to hit him at all? I mean, I think those are the fair discussions that player and coach have tomorrow, and it looks like the officiating crew has decided, well, it didn't push the envelope too far to kick him out of the game.
And no announcement made, but Blair is still back there, so
it is such a line these guys walk, especially on the back end of the defense, because you drafted Marquise Blair to hit.
Here comes the pressure again. Lock gets that one off. Bobble and more flags. Jamar Taylor and Marquise Blair were there.
Pass interference. Defense number 8. By rule, the ball is placed in the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
And that's on Jamar Taylor. You know what? Did Blair get a piece of that ball?
Or is it just coming off a little wobbly in Drew Lock's hand on a couple different occasions tonight, Kurt?
Well, the point is, if Blair got a piece of that ball, sure, it won't be pass interference.
That's right. That's right.
And I think that's what the Seahawks sideline is thinking. Let's take another look.
But where is the pass interference? He's breaking on the ball. He has a right to go break on the ball on a poorly thrown pass. And let's all remember that this is also preseason for all of these officials. It is. And they got to see the game and feel the game. And the speed and the tempo is faster out here than it is on the practice field where they're getting their reps as well. But I would challenge where there was any contact that impeded the receiver's opportunity to get to the ball.
And also remember, this year you can challenge pass interference call, whether it should have been called and wasn't,
well, there's
or
a
was called and didn't.
Okay, so there's the contact early. It's not late. That flag came from the back judge early. His feeling is that contact there. And is the ball out of his hand? If the ball's not out of his hand, it's going to be a hold. If the ball's out of his hand, it's a pass interference. And I don't think Blair got it. He was an inch away from it. But yes, I think at the top of his route, certainly not here, but at the top of his route, there was an impediment to the receiver running his route, and for that, that should be penalized.
And also, if they call the pass interference at the top of the route, it doesn't matter if he tipped it after that, because the penalty had already been called.
I'll be really curious.
Lots of teaching points for officials tonight.
Yeah, and for all of us.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands. Seattle is charged with a timeout and loses their challenge.
And I think Pete will look at that on tape tomorrow and say, okay, I understand that. All right, this is at the very top of the route. This is an outbreaking route, zone coverage, and you're going to see right there the feeling that that's the call that they said stands. And Pete's going to learn from this. As he said, we got to take all of this in, and I'm going to challenge these in this preseason so we can get a feel for what eventually is going to be called in the regular season.
Gives the Broncos a first down at the 30. Locke tried to zip that one out to Stevens. Instead, it's broken up.
And a cheer from the faithful that are left for no penalty. I will be very curious to hear Coach Carroll after this game and through this week when it comes to Marquise Blair. because I'm still sitting up here a little bit undecided. I want Marquise Blair. If I'm a Seahawk fan and a teammate, I want him to bring the hammer.
Well, I think
that's
Pete
why
does too.
he was drafted.
I don't see Pete being upset with him bringing the hammer. Obviously, you want to keep it within the rules.
Yes.
But this is what he wants. This is the reason that Marquise Blair was drafted in the second round.
And this league is going to protect defenseless players. They have made that abundantly clear.
Lock open along the sideline and caught. Trinity Benson with the catch.
And guess who's over the top of that route right there, trying to separate receiver from ball? Marquise Blair. And did he not get penalized earlier? Does he hit him a little harder? Is it a little bit different? I mean, I think those are all very legitimate learning lessons for rookie moving forward.
First and goal after the 26-yard gain. Lock brought down from behind. Barkevius Mingo. Active night for him from start to finish. Hurry up offense for the Broncos. Out of the backfield. Easy touchdown, Devontae Jackson.
And you're going to go for 2 here if you're the Broncos, obviously.
First touchdown of the night for Denver's offense. First touchdown pass for Drew Lock. Makes it a 10-point contest. And as you said, they're lining up for 2 and try to make it a 1-score game. Pass caught, 2-point conversion made. Simeon Thomas laid a hit on Jawan Winfrey after the catch, but Winfrey somehow able to hang on to that.
That was a tight window between 3 different Seahawks. Touchdown concept we see all the time. You run in breaking routes and release that running back out into the flat. That's well executed, and here's why Drew Lock was a second-round pick. Because you've got to be able to fit that pass into that window. A nice job by the rookie Winfrey holding on the other end. So Kurt, you know, you're a veteran guy. You're going to travel all around these camps in the NFL. You've watched so much ball. You watch it every weekend with Terry and Jimmy and Howie. Honestly, what is the conversation to Marquise Blair in that moment right there? What do you do as a teaching point on a play like that up the seam?
You know what you do? My guess,
yeah,
you keep doing what you're doing. I mean, you tell him, look, he knows what he did. He knows what the rule is.
He tried to get his helmet out of the play. You saw him. He even indicated, I'm hitting him full speed with my shoulder in that moment.
But my point is, I believe that, look, because the receiver was wide open, there was nobody behind him, that's going to get called every time. But 9 times out of 10 in the action of play, that hit's not going to be called. Yeah. You know, and so I think you don't want to have him thinking. The last thing you want with a young guy is to have him think. Go out, play your game. The teaching points that you've been teaching him all along about how not to lower his head, those points stay there, but I don't think you do anything different, anything extra. Jerry Wright with a return.
You know, they would tell you Cam Chancellor had to learn how to hit. Right, he had to learn how to take his head out of it and change his strike zone to hit. So I guess for Marquise Blair, if he hits that receiver and he just hits him a foot lower, you're good? Or is it because he's defenseless and his young rookie quarterback throws him an ambulance ball?
I think it's the latter. Because he's defenseless, that's why it got called more than it would normally.
Well, you're seeing his teammates right here, and what are they doing? Like, yep, this is what you can't do in camp. This is what you can't, but this is ultimately why you were drafted here, for some of these collisions that you have made tonight.
And think of it, since Chancellor's injury, the Seahawks have been looking for that from the safety position from someone. This is Xavier Turner. They've drafted guys, they've signed guys as free agents, just trying to find someone who could be, you hate to use the word intimidator because of the way of the game, but that's what you want under your defense. Someone who can intimidate guys and make them think twice within the rules, and they've been trying to find that guy. I think they may have found him in Lynch.
You know what's funny, Kurt, is I agree with that completely. But I would also say Earl Thomas was also quite an enforcer.
True.
When he came out of center field, you can ask Rob Gronkowski's ribs how that felt. Right? In 29, in the no-fly zone, was more than willing to sacrifice his body, too. So, yeah, the combination of those two in that thump that you hear about, when you need that thump. Bobby Wagner's got that thump. Cam had that thump. Marquise Blair, you saw it. We heard it from Cody Barton earlier in this game. Those are the guys drafted in the 2nd and 3rd round. Really going to lean into to replenish that.
Just over 3 minutes left. Paxton Lynch will try and help the Seahawks offense run out the clock. Xavier Turner with the run, and get a feel at some point Denver's going to start using timeouts, and they do right now. So they can stop the clock once more, plus, of course, the 2-minute warning. So this is pretty important 3rd down.
Or is this one of those situations where you're evaluating Paxton Lynch? And you continue that evaluation and say, okay, let's put the ball in your hands here. These are the 3rd downs that win games. These are 3rd downs that Russell Wilson has made in 4th quarters and overtimes in his career. Right, it's going to be a little bit of a movement. Is this going to be some of that inside run where you may have the opportunity to pull that ball? Very efficient night, and rushing touchdown, a tremendous play as well.
Needing to get it to the 36-yard line. Turner does. Flags, however, go flying in the backfield.
Holding. Offense number 53. 10-yard penalty. 3rd down.
That's on the center, Joey Hunt. Will negate the 1st down. 14th penalty of the night for Seattle.
And by the way, Pete wants to win this game.
You think?
Yeah, he went 0-4 last year. He did not like any part of that in the preseason. And there's no question that he would like to find a way to finish this game doing what they did for 25 minutes of dominating play here in the 2nd half.
But now it's a 3rd and 15. They just hand it off. Turner going to pick up some of those yards. They will allow the clock to continue to run, however. So there's some benefit there, and it forces Denver to use that timeout. Had you thrown an incomplete pass, it would have stopped the clock. Denver would have had that extra timeout in their pocket. So a little bit of coaching there. Strategy involved in running that ball on 3rd and 15. So Drew Lock, 2 minutes and 49 seconds. The 2-minute warning, the only chance he's got to stop the clock once the Broncos get the ball back. Special teams unit has been pretty good in coverage tonight for the Seattle Seahawks. They'll need to be here. Try to make this field as long as possible. River Craycraft back deep. Dixon. Low wobbly kick. Craycraft at his 32 breaks the tackle. Flags come out again. Austin Calitro with the stop. Let's see what the penalty marker's about. You can see the signals already from Seattle saying it's on Denver.
During the return, illegal blocking the back, number 27 of the return team. 10 yards from the spot of the foul. 1st down.
You think those live reps and special teams matter in training camp?
They seem like they've transferred into the game tonight for Seattle, for sure. So 2:40 left. Ball's at the 24-yard line. Broncos a touchdown and 2-point conversion behind. Here's their rookie quarterback, Drew Lock. And completes that one to Williams out of the backfield. David Williams stopped by Jeremy Boykins.
Use that extra defender, that boundary, that sideline, and you keep everything in the field to play to keep that clock running.
They pick up 12 yards and a first down. So the chains move, but the clock continues to move, much to Denver's detriment. Williams again. This time he gets out of bounds, stopping the clock with 2:09 remaining. 4 yards on the pickup. Akeem King with the tackle.
And if you're Drew Lock, this is why you were drafted in the second round, right? You're going to push Joe Flacco this year. John Elway has got to get that position right. It was a rough stretch, the safety, and just totally discombobulated for big stretches of the second half. Yet you lead a touchdown drive, 2-point conversion, a one-score game here, and that is all that you're thinking in the final 2 minutes.
Here comes the blitz. Lock incomplete, intended for David Williams. Good coverage by Ben Burke-Irvin, former Husky. Another one of those rookie linebackers. Third and 6.
Watch the level of communication. I think that's been one of the big keys for these two rookie linebackers to feel so comfortable constantly talking and communicating.
Lock under pressure, hit as he throws. In the air, was it picked off? It was. Interception by the Seahawks. Good job of Jamar Taylor tap dancing on that sideline and getting the first turnover of the game. That should seal it.
Well, you saw those last 2 snaps. Ken Norton said finally enough's enough. I'm not going to just sit back there and play some zone coverage. And tremendous awareness. Getting that back shoulder down. Really inbounds, controlling the ball. The former Boise State Broncos played a bunch of ball in this league.
And credit to Akeem King as well. He brought the pressure and hit block as he threw it, so he wasn't able to get enough on it, allowing Taylor to get the pick. Last play before the 2-minute warning, obviously. Xavier Turner. And that'll take us officially to the 2-minute warning. Seahawks trying to run out the clock and get the win to open up the preseason in style.
2 minutes. Timeout.
Seahawks football is presented by Washington's Lottery. Take it to 12 with Seahawks Scratch from Washington's Lottery. You could win $75,000 or a chance to hang with Seahawks legend Cliff Averill. Back here live at CenturyLink Field in Seattle, Washington, and the Seahawks leading the Denver Broncos 22-14. Aaron Levine alongside Dave Wyman. So many great stories to talk about in the second half, from Paxton Lynch to Jazz Ferguson, even Deshaun Shedd returning to Seattle, getting that safety. You pick.
I'll take Paxton Lynch. I'll tell you, I don't know if he makes that same run for a touchdown against another team that isn't his former team, but I loved his effort there. He's looked really good in the second half. It's been way better than what we've seen out at practice from him.
We'll have more highlights and analysis in a condensed post-game show coming up in a couple of minutes. Let's send it back up to the booth with Kurt and Brock. Guys.
All right, guys. Brock, I'll ask you the question that Aaron asked Dave. Your pick for tonight.
Yeah, I'd probably lean into Paxton just because of the immense storyline, just because that first pass is short-armed and thrown it in the dirt, and you're like, how are you going to respond? But I will say this as well, maybe even a bigger picture than an individual is just the run and hitting. Right? That is what this draft class and this young group was about. That is what this thing was built on in its heyday, is you came into this building and you were going to get hit. And between Cody Barton and Michael Kendricks and Marquise Blair and a very active defensive line, these Denver Broncos and Drew Lock and crew are walking out of here bruised tonight.
That's exactly where I would lean to. I mean, we talked about it beforehand. First of all, about the rookie class in general with 11 rookies. But they wanted to establish a physical presence tonight, running the ball and also defensively, and I think the Seahawks have done that.
Yeah, they've got that offensively. The DJ Flukers and Brits and Browns and Carsons had that. That's taken care of, and Fant and Disley is really defensively. And, you know, if you're going to play this single high safety, which they love to play, there's going to be some alleys where you have got to come down and be violent. And to see Barton and to see Blair with the lights go on really deliver some of those blows, that had to be encouraging.
And so rather than stopping the clock, the Seahawks just let it run out. They'll take the penalty, back up 5 more yards for Dixon to kick it with 23 seconds left. Time more valuable than distance. Inside the 5, bounces into the end zone. 47 yards on the kick.
You know, one of my favorite sound bites through the years was Demaryius Thomas in the Super Bowl. Pete Carroll, opening series of the game, run a little shallow cross. Cam Chancellor hit him, and he ejected him 9 feet. It was 3 yards. And Demaryius Thomas is not a small guy.
No.
Pete Carroll has watched teams come in here. Right, in today's NFL, you're going to have a lot of spread in your own division here. You're going to have a lot of teams want to spread it out and play. And if you face that, then you've got to come down and you've got to finish. Bobby and KJ can do that. Who and where in the secondary? Trey Flowers, 3rd leading tackler last year. Shaquille, 4th leading tackler. Those guys are willing. But to see that from the safety position as well, McDougal will do it. But that is where you really influence those receivers that say, yeah, I might catch that slant or that shallow cross or that seam. But I better have my head on a swivel against these Seahawks.
Here's Locke underneath. Caught by Devontae Jackson. He's chased out of bounds by Juwan Johnson. 8 seconds remaining. The time to see how many guys they can get involved in one of those plays here. Lots of laterals.
The other conversation with Coach Carroll was about pass interference on Hail Marys. Remember that as well.
And it can be challenged whether it's called or not. Keep that in mind.
From the booth in the final 2 minutes.
Here's Locke. Almost picked off. Threw that behind his intended receiver. Simeon Thomas had a chance. So now the Broncos will line up with what will most likely be the final play of the game.
Coaching to the final 4 seconds.
And the Seahawks are dropping guys deep. I would say it looks like a baseball outfielder, but they've got more guys back there than an outfielder can hold. 7 guys deep. Broncos decide to run it. And that will do it. Ball game over. The Seahawks, after being down 6-0, tied it at 6 at halftime, and then were in control in the second half. They win at 22-14 the final. First victory in the first game of the 2019 preseason for Pete Carroll's team as the Seahawks go to 1-0, dropping the Broncos to 1-1. Geno Smith started the game, played well. Paxton Lynch played really well in the second half with a touchdown run and a touchdown pass. Aaron and Dave will wrap things up with a post-game show. For Brock Heward, I'm Kurt Menefee. We will see you in a couple weeks when the Seahawks take on the Chargers. But right now, there's more to talk about from tonight.